Chapter 4205. Tangwa thought for a while. Do you know how to draw? If you're interested, you can learn how to draw. Start with sketching. From now on, you can share your learning progress every day. When you interact with your fans in the future, you can even draw your profile picture for them. Who knows, you might even need to draw for some of the roles you're filming in the future. Okay. I like drawing. Zhuoxiang hesitated for a while before asking, Sister Tang, do you know how to draw? Yes, I'll get the butler to buy some tools later. I'll start teaching you in the afternoon. Zhuoxiang. She shouldn't have doubted her. What couldn't this versatile manager know? She must be a god. All right, the three of you should also post on your blog to inform your fans that you're changing companies. Consider it a farewell to the past and for the future. The three of them expressed that there was no problem. In Zhuyun was older and wasn't popular. She didn't have many fans, only a few 100,000. The good thing was that there were many living fans. The people who were her fans now were really her fans, and they were the more rational kind. In Zhuyun, I signed with a company and met a very good manager. My future is promising. After the post was posted, it took about a minute before someone commented. They were all encouraging and very friendly comments. Zhuoxiang had more fans than In Zhuyun. In terms of age, she was relatively younger. When she debuted, her performance was not bad. Although she didn't play the female lead, she played the second and third female lead quite a few times. Because she stuck to her principles, she couldn't get any resources. The competition was so big, so the company wouldn't spend so much effort to support disobedient actors who didn't bring them commercial value. So, after that, she could only go for auditions on her own, or the company would arrange some bad roles for her. Not only could she not solidify her fans, but she was also often ridiculed for not having many fans and having some haters. Zhuoxiang. I changed to a new company. My manager is super good. I'm in class now. Wait for me to come back. After Zhuoxiang posted on her blog, there were immediately comments. They all congratulated Zhuoxiang and ridiculed her previous company. They were happy that she could change to a good company. Zhuoxiang decided that from tomorrow onwards, she would share her progress in learning how to draw. Tangwa followed the two of them, and her gaze fell on Hao Yi. Hao Yi took out his phone and said calmly, I haven't logged into Weibo for many years. How many years is that? Tangwa asked. Zhuoxiang and In Zhuyun were also very curious. They had heard a little about Hao Ye's history. Hao Yi smiled carelessly. It's been about 6 years. There are too many haters and crazy fans. Even if I shut off my private messages and comments, I can't stop those people from tagging me every day. The three of them looked at Hao Yi sympathetically. Hao Yi logged into Weibo. Because it had been too long, he had forgotten the password. It took him some time to get it back. When he logged in, there were indeed many posts about him. He clicked on them and found that most of the posts were from 5 to 6 years ago. Since 3 years ago, the number of posts about him had gradually decreased. The last post was from 3 months ago. He opened his private messages and comments. Since he had returned to this circle, he had to face these things. He had already become strong enough. Everything on the internet, no matter how much they talked about him, could no longer affect him. Hao Yi. From today onwards, I'm an actor again. Those who had stopped being fans back then had basically stopped being fans. He looked at the pile of numbers. He didn't leave without saying goodbye. When he left Weibo, he said goodbye to his fans. Now that he said he was back, it was very appropriate. Peak. Chapter 4206. Hao Yi was prepared for someone to scold him later. Even if many years had passed, the people who slandered him back then would probably not have a good impression of him. They would still mock him when they needed to. Even if they didn't mock him, Qidong would definitely do something if he knew about this. He knew the other party's character. The comments came faster than Hao Yi expected. What he didn't expect was that the first comment was actually 4 words, welcome back. After this comment, there was a string of, welcome back. It was the same as the crazy and passionate fans he remembered. Hao Yi quickly recalled that after so many years, the group of people who used to be his fans were all in their teens and 20s. Now that so many years had passed, most of them were over 20 years old. They were much more mature and should have such a reaction. However, there were still some relatively lively comments after that. For the time being, he didn't find anyone attacking him. He chose the first fan who welcomed him and replied, "Thank you." Naturally, that comment would become a hot comment. Although he didn't take the popular route, he was still very grateful to these people who were willing to like him and rationally support him. Later, a fan asked him if his contract had expired and he had signed with a new company. He also reminded him to look at the contract carefully. Hao Yi looked at this comment and smiled at Tanghua. They've all grown up. The little fan from back then seems to understand what's going on. You sound a little old. Tanghua also smiled. Reply to the other party. Since they're still willing to follow you, they must really like you. They've all grown up and matured. There's a big difference from before. Hao Yi nodded. With this comment, he replied that he had signed with a new company and that there was no problem with the contract. He even mentioned that the manager was very good and that they would definitely work well together. At the same time, Tanghua, who was newly following Hao Yi, was also discovered by his few remaining fans. Good Brother should have signed with Morning Star Entertainment. Did you guys see that? Good Brother and Morning Star Entertainment's Tanghua are following each other. I saw it. What kind of company is Morning Star Entertainment? Good Brother won't lose out, right? To be honest, I regret what happened back then. I wasn't young and didn't know better. Later, after the big fans, I found out how new our Good Brother was. Morning Star Entertainment has a good reputation at the moment, and this agent has a good reputation too. Have you seen the recent season of Survival on an Island? The actress with the hen called Xiao Huahua is an artist under this manager. I know. I've been watching it every day. I've already climbed half of the wall. I didn't expect Brother Yu to come back before I could climb over. But I really like Brother Yu. Now that they both have the same manager, does that mean I can have both of them? I know that every time Brother Yu is asked how he learned these things, he always says that it's a one-on-one class for his agent. If that's the case, Good Brother has really met a good person. I never thought that I would be able to see my good brother return to the industry in my lifetime. I'm so touched. I have no more regrets in this life. These fans were not sending private messages. Instead, they were discussing this matter on Hao Ye's blog. Hao Yi silently watched their discussion with a gentle expression. There are still many people who care about you. By the way, did the fans call you Brother Yu in the past? Tanghua's focus was a little strange. She always felt that it was not the case. Hao Ye's expression was a little uncomfortable. Of course not. Chapter 4207. Zhuoxiang saw Hao Ye's indescribable expression and quickly said, "It's not a secret. Can't you find out after searching online?" In the past, fans used to call you Good Brother. Tanghua, I want to laugh out loud, but I'm afraid of hurting the artist's self-esteem. What should I do? System. Laugh first. It's not a big deal. The host was good at coaxing people. Hao Yi could see that Tanghua was trying to hold back her laughter, so he was relieved. Laugh if you want. Tanghua really laughed, but she didn't laugh out loud. Instead, her lips and eyebrows were curved. When she smiled, she was especially charming. Zhuoxiang and Yin Zhuyan both felt that their manager had entered the wrong industry. Entering the entertainment industry with this appearance, her appearance alone was enough to suppress many people. Hao Yi, I can see that you don't like to post on Weibo, so I'll force you to do it. In the future, you can post whatever you want. If it's controversial, you still need to discuss it with me in advance. Hao Yi replied, okay. He was a little surprised that Tanghua didn't care about his Weibo, so he asked, you don't care about my Weibo? Why should I care about your Weibo? I believe that you all know what to do. You're all adults, so you have to be responsible for your own actions. She was so busy, but she still cared about the artist's Weibo. She was dreaming. She should take care of it herself. Hao Yi really didn't have a strong desire to show off on the internet. In this kind of situation, he was more serious and said whatever he wanted, just like a veteran. In the past, his Weibo was managed by his uncle. Fortunately, he registered it himself, so it was easy to find the password. Zhuoxiang liked to interact with her fans, and Yin Zhuyan was also very willing to share her life situation. The three of them were very satisfied with Tanghua's arrangement. You have half a year to study. If you meet a good role in this half a year, I will try my best to help you fight for it. So you have to hurry. The three of them nodded quickly. They didn't want to relax for a moment with such a good opportunity. After making arrangements for the three of them, Tangwa went to check on Yu Jiwei and the other two during her free time. Yu Jiwei's house had already been built. The support of the house was made of dead trees. With his exquisite craftsmanship, he pieced the dead trees together and made some carvings. He had attracted a large number of fans, and even some old carpenters were watching Yu Jiwei's live broadcast. At first, the roof was covered with some grass. To prevent rain from leaking, he also added banana leaves to cover it. Later on, everything stabilized and he had some free time. He began to chop down dead wood and was making wooden tiles. This shocked the audience. It was clearly a challenge to survive on an isolated island, but when they looked at Yu Jiwei, it was as if they were looking at the wandering life of a craftsman. This feeling was really strange. Now that more than a month had passed, only about 30 of the original 100 people were left. Except for Yu Jiwei, everyone had lost a few pounds. Yu Jiwei was the only one who lived happily every day. If someone wanted to trade something with him, as long as they took out something of equal value, Yu Jiwei would not refuse. If others wanted to learn skills, Yu Jiwei would also try his best to teach them. This was what Tangwa had told him from the beginning. If someone wanted to ask for advice, he could teach them. Without her systematic training, some things couldn't be learned in a short period of time. However, some small tricks were more useful for the people who were wandering on the island. Unknowingly, Yu Jiwei's actions had attracted a large number of fans, and he was completely popular. Chapter 4208. Recently, Yu Jiwei appeared on the hot search list from time to time and even doubled the ratings of the show. Even those who were not interested in the show came to watch it. Those who said that Yu Jiwei was just putting on a show felt embarrassed when they saw that he seemed to be living in seclusion on an isolated island. Tangwa checked Yu Jiwei's Weibo again. Yu Jiwei only had a few 100,000 fans before, but now he had 5 million. After checking Yu Jiwei's Weibo, she contacted Jiang Qiqi and found out that she was making good progress. The director had specially hired her as the martial arts director of the crew. Many of the moves were discussed by her and the other martial arts directors. Jiang Qiqi had also been told by Tangwa that if the martial arts director wanted beautiful moves, she could teach them. She did not need to worry about anything. Sister Tang, this is my first time being a sister. Now, other than the director, everyone calls me Sister Jiang. How do you feel? Not bad. I like this feeling. So this is who I am. I used to wrap myself up and deliberately become someone else to cater to the public. I always felt that something was wrong. So, you've let yourself go? Tangwa remembered some time ago, Jiang Qiqi was photographed going to a bar late at night with several men. Originally, those people wanted to slander Jiang Qiqi, but they didn't expect that in the end, Jiang Qiqi was drinking with several martial arts instructors, and they were all knocked out by her. Sister Jiang, you're quite good at drinking. Sister Tang, I don't want to do it. I'll take it easy now. I won't cause you any trouble. It's okay. As long as it's not a mistake, you can act according to your nature. As long as you can withstand the pressure. It was not bad to have some topics to talk about. Anyway, she could clear her name. She could just take it that the paparazzi helped Jiang Qiqi promote and save some operating expenses. Host. The paparazzi who photographed Jiang Qiqi were undoubtedly warned by Cheng Xian. Don't worry about it. This kind of small action was harmless and would only make Cheng Xian more annoyed. Helei's drama would probably be completed in about a month. Tangwa called Helei's assistant and asked a lot of questions about the crew. After she had a good understanding of the situation, Helei came to answer the phone. Sister Tang, you're right. Fortunately, I didn't become arrogant because of your reminder. Cheng Xian's acting skills in the past half a month were like a rocket, improving rapidly. If I had maintained my original appearance, I would have been crushed by her. After discovering Cheng Xian's talent, Helei didn't dare to waste any more time. Every day, he would recall what Tangwa had taught him and read the works recommended by Tangwa. Fortunately, his talent was not bad, so he was not suppressed by Cheng Xian. But the two of them went back and forth, and their acting was indeed the highlight of every shoot. Because the two of them were exciting enough, the director even added scenes for them. Right now, Helei's scenes had already surpassed the second male lead and Cheng Xian's scenes were only a little short of the female lead. Because of this incident, Cheng Xian was hated by the female lead. Recently, There was a lot of negative news about her, so she didn't have time to do anything. It's good that you know. There will always be someone better than you. In this circle, you must always have a learning attitude. Even if you meet someone with bad acting skills today, you can't mock them. Who knows, they might be enlightened in the future. You have to be especially respectful to those seniors. Sister Tang, don't worry. I don't dare to be arrogant. It's too scary. He said with lingering fear. Oh right, Sister Tang, I heard that you signed a new person? Yes, you can get to know her after you finish filming. Chapter 4209. Sister Tang, are you very busy now? He hesitated for a moment before saying, Sister Tang, if you're not busy, can you come and visit me? I want to practice a few more scenes with you to get a feel for it. Tangwa could feel Helay's reliance on her as if he really treated her as a sister, so she agreed. Okay. Haoyu was sitting beside Tangwa and reading a book. When he heard Tangwa's words, he couldn't help but ask, Sister Tang, are you going to see Helay? Probably because of his training, he could hear Helay's reliance on Tangwa. He didn't know why, but he really wanted to see him. Yeah, Xiaolei should have a problem with his acting. I'll go and take a look. Haoyu said, why don't I go with you? I haven't seen the crew in a long time and want to get used to it. Also, I can get a feel for it. Tangwa obviously agreed. Haoyu couldn't help but smile. Tangwa thought that the director's scripts were all good, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to bring Haoyu along. Maybe there would be a suitable role in the next movie and people would think of Haoyu. Since that was the case, she would bring all three of them along. Haoyu looked at the limousine and glanced at Tangwa sitting beside him. He didn't know where to put his expression. Didn't she say that the two of them would go together? Why were there two more people? I'll bring you to show your faces. Director Su is very good. He's a director who takes his work seriously. If you get familiar with him, he might consider you when there are good roles in the future. As long as you can move him, it's easy to get roles that aren't the female or male lead. As for the first role, with their current results, it wasn't enough to convince the public. Eating one mouthful at a time wouldn't make one choke. One had to walk step by step to be stable. The filming location was currently in another city. After they got out of the car, they still had to take a plane there. Sister Tang, isn't it too extravagant to be in first class? Zhuo Xiang asked. Will the company reimburse us? Tangwa waved her hand. I'm not going to reimburse this. It's more comfortable here. If you follow me, you'll get this treatment. 2 hours later, they arrived at the destination city. Not long after, they arrived at Helay's set. Coincidentally, they met Helay and Changxian. The two seemed to be on par. Tangwa discovered that Changxian's acting skills had indeed improved a lot. He didn't find it strange. She was a movie queen, after all. She probably wasn't used to it before. Now that she met someone with good acting skills, it was normal for her to improve. After one scene, Changxian and Changxian, they both. Tangwa's appearance cheered Helay up again. Helay discovered that there was a special gaze staring at him. Looking over, it was actually a very handsome man. Xiaolei, let's go. We'll find a place to practice. Helay retracted his gaze. Was this the artist that Sister Tang had just signed? That pair of eyes seemed calm, but why did he feel that there was a sharp knife hidden inside? However, this person's aura was really extraordinary. Why hadn't he heard of it before? Judging from his age, did he debut midway? Changxian watched as Tangwa left with a group of people. Her expression changed slightly. Each of Tangwa's people was doing better than the other. She felt unconvinced. It was as if after she left, Tangwa distributed the resources to her people. These people all used the resources, and she was the one who dragged Tangwa down. Changxian, you've been doing well recently. Your acting skills have improved quickly. Director Su praised. Helay is not bad too. You two work well together. Changxian was unhappy to be praised. She had been in the entertainment industry for many years before she got the title of Best Actress. Helay, this little fresh meat, could actually act with her. No matter how much she improved, he could take it. She had never succeeded in a scene. In the waiting room, Tangwa and Helay were acting. She realized that Helay had reached a bottleneck. Although they had acted together before, it was only once and it wasn't the best. Now, the scenes with Changxian had improved. The previous scenes were not good enough. Just as he lay was troubled, Hao Yi said, "Let me try. Maybe I can give you some inspiration." Chapter 42:10. The character that He Lei was playing was the third male lead. He was originally a hooligan who had nothing to do. But if one were to dig deeper, the reason why Fan Shi was able to become a hooligan was because he had a story that no one knew about. It was impossible for a normal person to suddenly become a nobody. In the beginning, He Lei's performance was very smooth. He portrayed the character of Fan Shi to the fullest. So, once the film was released, He Lei's character would definitely turn out to be a real hooligan. He Lei's fans would definitely be shocked by his performance. However, he was currently facing difficulties. He was the third male lead who was infatuated with the second female lead. So, he acted with Cheng Xian the most. Ever since he fell in love with Mi Yashue, he began to hate his identity as a hooligan. He felt that he was a filthy worm in the mud that could not be exposed to the light and was not worthy of standing beside Mi Yashue. However, they were destined to have a conflict. Fan Shi was destined to be a big help to Mi Yashue. In other words, he was the one who helped Mi Yashue do bad things. He Lei's initial analysis was that Fan Shi's character was infatuated with Mi Yashue. That was why he did things that violated the rules. Even though he knew it was wrong, he was still willing to do it because of this inferiority complex. He was even willing to sell his soul in order to climb to a higher position. So far, Fan Shi's progress had reached a point where no one would think of him as a hooligan anymore. At the very least, no one would talk about his past on the surface. Cheng Xian's acting skills had improved too quickly. So, when he acted with Cheng Xian, he could not act with the same mindset as when he acted with Tenghua. Instead, he had to analyze Fan Shi's character. He Lei's bottleneck was that Fan Shi's character had changed. He was a little confused and unable to control Fan Shi. However, if he continued acting, there wouldn't be too much of a problem. But Fan Shi's character would no longer be outstanding. In fact, it would become a big failure in the later stages of the film. When the time came, the audience would only hate Fan Shi. Hao Yi, what do you think? Hao Yi was reading the script. As the filming for the day had ended, they had plenty of time to read it. Hao Yi read the script for 2 hours straight. During this time, he was particularly focused. Tenghua asked when she saw that Hao Yi had reached the last page of the script. Hao Yi closed the script and said, "There's no problem. Let's give it a try." In the following plot, because of the male lead, Myaxu impulsively decided to get engaged to Fan Shi. When she proudly told Fan Shi the news, Fan Shi had to appear very happy. Then, he would do something to express his feelings. During the wedding, the Missy did not show any intention of attending. Instead, she simply called Fan Shi and told him that she did not want to get married. Instead, she told him that the wedding would be Fan Shi's solo performance. His beloved goddess wasn't coming on her wedding day. How would he react with just a phone call? By the time Hao Yi stood up, Tenghua had already sat down. She hooked her finger at Hao Yi, who was now Fan Shi. Even though Fan Shi was no longer an ordinary person, he still behaved like a puppy. He obediently walked over to Yashue and asked in a deep voice filled with love, "Yashue, what else do you need me to do? Marry me." Mi Yashue lifted Fan Shi's chin with her index finger and stared at his handsome face. Seeing his surprised expression, she frowned and repeated impatiently, "Marry me?" Chapter 42:11. Yeah. Yashue. Fan Shi's excited eyes contained a hint of helplessness. He was like a child that had been neglected for a long time and was suddenly rewarded with a candy. He was happy, he was in disbelief, and he wanted it. He Lei and the others stood nearby and watched with rapt attention. In particular, He Lei was deep in thought. As expected, in his heart, the perfect Mi Yashue was his manager. But why did he suddenly feel that the perfect Fan Shi was the old artist that his manager had just signed? Earlier, he took advantage of the time to investigate Hao Ye's background. Perhaps this was his senior. Apparently, the incident back then was not simple. He Lei snapped out of his daze and continued to watch the couple's performance. "You don't want to?" Mi Yashue pushed Fan Shi away in disgust. Fan Shi quickly snapped out of his daze and said, "As long as Yashue is willing to get married, we'll get married." He Lei carefully observed Hao Ye's performance. His words, expressions, and actions were perfect. So, was this senior once a pervert? Especially the maturity of a hooligan. This was something that Hile lacked. Perhaps, this required some life experience. Hile made a mental note of Fanshi's performance. It seemed, he would need to interact more with this senior to make Fanshi's character better. Okay, you can leave now. Everything's fine. To me, Yashue, no matter how high Fanshi's status was, he was still just a dog by her side. Of course, this was only the current situation. Everything would change as the plot developed and the character's psychological activities changed. For example, it was already unbelievable that Yashue wanted to marry Fanshi. Based on her situation, she could have chosen someone else. Why did she choose Fanshi? Did this mean that she also felt that Fanshi was the only person that was loyal to her? Did she think that no matter what she did, Fanshi would protect her and not hurt her? In reality, every scene with Fanshi was a little different. It was a foreshadowing for future events. Yashue, I'm going to prepare for our wedding. When do you want to get married? Anything. You arrange it. For me, Yashue's attitude, it was obvious that she wanted to get married out of spite. It was impossible that she really wanted to get married. Could Fanshi not tell? Of course not. How could he not have seen through the fact that he had been a hooligan all this time? He just didn't want to shatter this beautiful dream. Marrying Miss Myakshu was something he never dared to think about in his entire life. Mia was the one who suggested it. No matter what the result was, he would prepare for it seriously. Therefore, when he turned to leave the room, there was a moment of sadness in his eyes. However, when he left the room and met other people, he revealed a happy expression. His joy was overflowing, and everyone could feel his happiness. Tangwa had arranged for the rest of the people present to play small roles. Some of them were Fanshi's subordinates, some were his friends, and some were people that he knew. This was Fanshi's solo performance. He shared his upcoming happy event with everyone. The most ingenious way how he handled it was that every time he shared the news with others, he would leave his back to the camera before he left. One or two such scenes were nothing, but if there were several of them, it would mean a lot. Chapter 42:12. Hilei's eyes grew brighter and brighter. After the scene, he held Hao Ye's hand excitedly. Senior, your back is amazing. I got it. Thank you. Take a break. Let's do the second scene, said Tangwa. She was actually amused. She didn't know if Hao Ye knew about the grudge between her and Miyashue. After this scene, the audience might not have a good impression of Miyashue. They would think that Miyashue was too heartless and wouldn't like her anymore. If she couldn't make it right, then the most annoying character in the show would be Miyashue. Whether she could make it right or not depended on Changxian's skills. She felt that if Changxian found out about this, she would find a way to make it right. For Hilei's future, she still hoped that Changxian could make it right. If the show was good, Hilei's value would rise. Because of Changxian, he would continue to improve. Newbies needed to be whipped constantly. Hao Ye was resting. He held the script tightly. His heart was beating fast. When he was acting with Tangwa just now, and she mentioned marriage, he had a special feeling in his heart. At that moment, he was brought into the show. Yes, he was brought into the show by Tangwa. Now, he felt that his heart was beating faster. He didn't feel that he was in the show. It seemed that she was really saying that they should get married. Hao Ye quickly shook his head. No way. Was he so immersed in the show that he couldn't get out? What's wrong? Tangwa saw that Hao Ye kept shaking his head. She patted his shoulder and put her hand on his forehead. Are you not feeling well? If you are, rest first. Your forehead is not hot. Hey, it's a little hot. Tangwa was about to let go of her hand when she found that Hao Ye's forehead was suddenly hot. She looked down and found that Hao Ye's face was slightly red. Hao Ye held the script tightly. Go away. It won't be hot. But he didn't want to say this out loud. Seeing that Tangwa might ask him to rest, he said, maybe there's a lack of oxygen in the room. I'll be fine after some rest, Hao Ye added. He stood up and opened the window. The cold wind blew in, and the red on his face disappeared. I've already recovered. Tangwa walked in front of him and looked at him carefully. She reached out and placed her hand on his forehead. Hao Ye didn't have time to dodge. His manager was concerned about him. It didn't seem right for him to avoid her. Forget it. Forget it. Isn't it just a touch on the forehead? System. Forget it? Today, he touched his forehead, but tomorrow, he wouldn't know where it was. How careless. The second interview continued. Tangwa took out her phone and stared at the interview on the television. Today was supposed to be her wedding day, but she didn't even have the intention to change out of her wedding dress. It was her assistant who reminded her. Get married? Yes, young mistress. President Fan has already prepared everything and is on his way. Miyashue remained silent for a minute. She then lazily pulled out her phone and dialed Fanshi's number. Haoyu was also in the zone. He quickly pulled out his phone and answered the call with a nervous look on his face. Yashue, did you wait for too long? I'll be right there. He spoke quickly because he didn't expect Yashue to not cancel the wedding even on the day of the wedding. So, he had great expectations. Perhaps he would be lucky enough to marry Yashue. He spoke quickly because he had already expected something. Previously, when they communicated, it was Yashue who spoke. He listened. He did what Yashue told him. Peak. Chapter 42:13. This was the first time Fanshi had picked up a phone call and spoke with a purpose. This meant that he did not want to hear anything other than the wedding from Yashue. His hand trembled slightly as he held onto the phone. This showed that he was afraid. If this person was not Yashue, he might have hung up the phone. However, he did not dare to hang up the phone. Although he appeared calm on the surface, his heart was in a mess. After Fanshi spoke quickly, Miyashue's voice came through the phone half a minute later. I don't want to get married. Don't come over. Fanshi's originally nervous expression finally changed. In particular, the smile on his face instantly disappeared. Okay. He did not ask why Miyashue had decided. He did not need to ask why. He would not hang up the phone. Miyashue did not hang up the phone either. Fanshi tried to find something to say. Yashue, have you had breakfast? I'll bring it over for you in a bit. No need. Miyashue hung up the phone. Next up was Fanshi's personal performance. The smile on his face was no longer on his face. However, he did not say a single word. From preparing for the wedding in a rush to canceling the wedding, he did not say a single word. Everyone present stared at him as he announced that he would not be getting married today because of an accident. After the guests were evacuated, he was the only one left at the wedding venue. He looked at the elaborate decorations and walked out of the venue. His back was very, very long. After the two performances were over, He pulled Haoyu away, and the two of them started to discuss in whispers. He felt that Fanshi was indeed a senior. Fanshi was not someone he could compare to. In the early stages, he acted quite well. However, in the later stages, he could not control his emotions well. So, he and Haoyu exchanged contact details and followed each other's Weibo. It seemed they were planning to communicate for a long time. Haoyu's vigilance towards He also unknowingly disappeared. Even he felt that he was acting strangely. After the discussion, He noticed that Haoyu's face was a little pale. Brother, you don't look well. Are you really sick? No. Haoyu understood that he had gotten into character. It was not because he was in character. Instead, he was in character because the person playing Miyashue was his manager. When Miyashue said that she was getting married, he was genuinely happy. When she said that she wasn't going to get married, he was really disappointed, as if he had lost the whole world. At that moment, he thought he was Fanshi and Tangwa was Miyashue. He was clearly a very rational person. He had never been like this before. He didn't know what was going on. Could this be the aftereffect of not being in the spotlight for a long time? In any case, he needed time to calm down. Perhaps it was right for him to take on less emotional roles. If he were to get into character every single time, it would be too tiring. System, you worry too much. Sister Tang, I think there's something wrong with my good brother. He doesn't look well. He admired Haoyu very much. Haoyu had only read the script once, and he was able to act out Fanshi so well. Earlier, when he talked to Zhuoxiang and Yin Zhuyun, he heard that Haoyu was indeed very good. He understood that Haoyu was a gift from God. Tangwa walked up to Haoyu and touched his forehead again. A trace of helplessness flashed through Haoyu's eyes. He felt his heartbeat quicken as an idea formed in his mind. This idea made his hand tremble. He raised his head and looked into Tangua's eyes. He knew very well that she was Tangua, not Miyashua. However, he still remembered the two scenes from earlier. He finally understood that the problem did not lie with the character. The problem lay with the manager. Let's go. I'll take you to the hospital for a checkup. It would be bad if it's a hidden disease. System, host, I just did a scan for you. All of his organs are very healthy. There are no signs of disease. Don't worry, he's fine. He's as strong as an ox. Tangua ignored the system and took Haoyi to the hospital for a checkup. Seeing that she insisted, Haoyi did not refuse. He decided to wait and see. If it really was, he didn't know what to do. He didn't want to become Fanshi. System. Did the host not hear what I said? His scan could not be wrong. Chapter 42:14. The medical report showed that Haoyi was very healthy. System. Host. See? I told you. How can the medical equipment here compare to mine? As long as I want to. I'm a system that's more powerful than a microscope. I can see cells, bacteria, and molecules clearly. Tangua. I know. System. Then why? But everyone doesn't believe it, so I checked. Everyone, don't worry. Look at how worried Xiaolei is about his senior. She didn't expect that Haoyi would gain a fan like Heilei after showing off his skills. Now, Heilei was looking at Haoyi with shining eyes. Heilei didn't have any works until now. He debuted as a popular young star, so he had a lot of fans. He took the initiative to follow someone's matter, and it attracted a lot of attention. Haoyi's return, other than the fans who used to be his fans and hadn't forgotten him, they wouldn't care. Heilei's next attack caused a splash. Not long after, Heilei became a trending topic. #Heilei follows #then. Many people went to search and naturally found out that the person who was being followed was Haoyi. Hence, Haoyi also became a trending topic. #Haoyi returns when Tangua saw this, she couldn't help but laugh. She said to the few of them, I have a feeling that you guys will help the company save a lot of publicity fees in the future. Look, it wasn't easy to become a trending topic. Haoyi shook his head. I haven't returned to work yet. I'll be mocked. Then are you afraid? Tangua asked. Haoyi said nonchalantly, I've passed the most difficult time. This is nothing. He had once felt sad and annoyed about the online violence. He even couldn't sleep at night and doubted the world. But that was all in the past. He was still a calm person. Back then, he felt that the internet had affected him too much. After saying goodbye to his fans, he never logged on to Weibo again. Now, these words from the outside world couldn't affect him anymore. He didn't care whether it was a trending topic or not. But Tangua seemed to be very happy that someone was helping to promote it. He was happy too. Since his manager was very satisfied, being a trending topic wasn't a big deal. I'll arrange a job for you right away. Tangua said, I've already tested you just now. Not only did your skills not deteriorate, but they also improved. You must have worked hard in secret these years. It won't be a problem for you to act directly. However, he still had to go through the lessons. I'll arrange everything for you. Once you get a role, just focus on your work. Tangua turned around and said to Zhuoxiang, Xiaoxiang, you don't have to rush. Practice your basic skills first. When there's a good script, I'll help you fight for it. Sister Yin as well. That day, Tangua asked the system to help her find a script, mainly for Haoyi. In just 3 days, the system had found a lot of them. He first deleted and selected them, then showed the best few to Tangua. The script that Tangua had her eyes on was an online drama, which was changed by an online drama. The most important thing about watching this web drama was that this character was not bad. Moreover, there were no emotional scenes at all. Although this drama was more relaxed, the role of the male lead didn't need to be as burdensome as regular drama roles. He just needed everyone to really play the role. The funny part of this fantasy web drama was the entire plot. In other words, everyone was acting seriously, but it gave people a very funny feeling. If the production budget was sufficient, this drama would definitely be a hit. For a regular drama script, it would definitely be very difficult for Haoyi to play the male lead. Even if it was an investment, he might not be able to get it. But for an online drama, it was different. According to her investigation, the director of this drama was currently looking for investment. Then, she would throw in money. After reading the script, Yi also showed a very interested look. Although the whole drama was humorous, he really didn't need to pretend to be funny. He just needed to act as usual. He felt that the author was also a talent. He actually came up with such an interesting story. This drama is very good. Tangwa could see how Ye's worry. You're worried that the scriptwriter will make random changes and that the production budget won't be enough. This will make this drama a shoddy production, right? Yes. Actually, some of the scripts for online dramas are very good, but many investors don't like them. As a result, there isn't enough funding. Moreover, the script is randomly changed, so a good drama will be ruined. Tangwa's lips curved. Then you can rest assured. I plan to invest in this drama. We'll make the decisions for the entire production team. Yi was stunned. They'll make the decisions? They made such a big deal as soon as they came? Yi, act well. I'm very optimistic about this drama. It will definitely make me a lot of money. Yi nodded blankly and read the script again. His agent didn't lack money. So if they made the decisions, this web drama would probably be a hit. Peak. Chapter 42:15. The script that Tangwa helped Yi choose was called, I Only Want to Rule the World. The gist of the script was that an emperor accidentally obtained a special ability, mind reading. He could hear the thoughts of the people around him. This emperor was originally a talented and ambitious man who wanted to rule the world. However, when he obtained mind reading, he realized that everyone around him was trying to stop his career from progressing. His loyal subjects, his obedient concubines, everything was just a facade. Among the courtiers, many hoped that he would die. They hoped that he would be able to assist a young prince to ascend the throne so that he would be easier to control. The concubines in the harem were all spies that were planted by various people around him. The joke of the script was that these subjects and concubines tried their best to stop his career, but he rejected them all coldly and heartlessly. This led to a series of ridiculous events. For example, one of the concubines added aphrodisiac to his wine, hoping that the emperor would never attend morning court again. He heard what the concubines were thinking, so he gave the cup of wine to the concubines to drink. After the concubines finished drinking, he threw them into ice water to soak. Another example was that the concubines always stopped him halfway and said that they wanted to play the zither, dance, and sing for him. Then, he made them sing, dance, and play until they would never want to do it again. Another example was that the subjects complained about him in their hearts and thought of their own plans. Because after he heard it, they thought that they would be proud of their plans, but in the end, they were slapped in the face by the emperor. So, in this drama, everyone was acting seriously, but the effect was relaxed and funny. The next day, Tangwa contacted the director of this drama. So far, the director had raised a few 100,000 yuan, but it was less than 1,000,000 yuan. If it was a crudely made web drama, it was still possible to save money. The director felt that this script was really good and hoped that he could rope in more people to invest. The funds were basically used for the costumes. As for the actors, he planned to choose low-paid and not popular actors whose acting skills were passable. When Tangwa found the director, Li Chengfu, and said that she wanted to invest 10 million yuan in this web drama, he was stunned. Investing 10 million yuan in a web drama? Which idiot would burn money like this? Miss Tang, have you really thought it through? This is a web drama. Li Chengfu was worried that Tangwa didn't understand, so he deliberately repeated himself. Plus, the actors I choose may not be famous. Tangwa, I've already thought about it. Although this is a web series, I like it very much and think it's not bad. Most importantly, one of my artists has taken a fancy to the male lead in this drama. When Li Chengfu heard this, he wondered if the male artist had hooked up with this rich woman and wanted to act for fun. Li Chengfu looked embarrassed. 10 million was good, but he really didn't want to give the male lead, the soul of the whole drama, to someone who didn't know how to act. It wasn't easy for him to pick out this script. He didn't want to ruin it. Director Li, I'll recommend him. If you think he's good, then use him. If not, then don't. I'll still invest 10 million. What do you think? Tangwa could tell what Li Chengfu was thinking. Because of this, she was even more confident that the show would be a hit. His pay doesn't need to be too high. The director can arrange my 10 million yuan on his own. It would be best if he could arrange for it to be spent on costumes and makeup. As for the rest of the actors, you can choose them yourself. Li Chengfu thought to himself, how could there be such a good thing? She invested money, and she didn't just give him the actors directly. Instead, she wanted him to take a look first. Chapter 42:16. I wonder who Miss Tang is recommending? Li Chengfu asked. If the person was good, it wouldn't matter. If it really didn't work, he felt that they could discuss it and give the other party another supporting role. It wouldn't be difficult. He's waiting outside. If Director Li is free, you can try him out today. I just don't know if Director Li has completed the script. Li Chengfu said, it's all done. I personally edited this. He had high hopes for this drama and didn't want it to be messed up by others, so he personally edited it. Hao Yi, who was waiting outside, was called in. The director didn't waste time and directly handed him the script and showed him a few scenes. Actually, the moment he saw Hao Yi, he felt that if his acting skills were passable, it wouldn't be a problem to use this person. He was close to 30 years old, the golden age. He was handsome and had an indescribable temperament. He didn't give people a feeling of sharpness, but he was like wine that had been stored for many years. There would always be a mellow taste that left a lasting aftertaste. Also, Hao Ye's height was definitely the first male lead in his heart. He already had a brain. When he wore the black golden dragon robe, how extraordinary would it be? Therefore, the 10 million must be used to make a few more good-looking dragon robes and a crown. This was the main lead. In terms of clothing, he definitely couldn't be shabby. Hao Yi was already reading the script. Tang Guo and Li Chengfu sat side by side. Seeing him staring at Hao Yi in deep thought, those small eyes of his narrowed, showing satisfaction from time to time, she knew that Li Chengfu was very satisfied with the current Hao Yi. As for the acting, she was even less worried. For today, she even asked Hao Yi to bring the props a knife. Ever since he had the ability to read minds, this emperor liked to hang a knife on his waist. She didn't believe that the props team could make a good knife, so she took a real one. However, the opening was sealed with something so that it wouldn't hurt people. Director Li, I can provide the crew with some props, swords, weapons, and some decorations, wine vessels, and so on. Tang Guo took out her phone and showed Li Chengfu the photos she took previously. Li Chengfu had good taste. At first glance, he couldn't help but praise in his heart. Good Lord, not only did she invest money, but she also invested in props. This was real. Although he couldn't tell the origin of these things, they were definitely authentic. Li Chengfu was excited. This way, the production crew would save a lot of money and could use it to optimize other things. Miss Tang, do you only need this role? Li Chengfu asked. Just now, he did a search and found that Tang Guo was an agent. Yu Jiwei, who was very popular recently, was an artist under this manager. No wonder Yu Jiwei changed so much. It must be this manager's doing. Those training courses should be very expensive, right? Xingqian Entertainment was really lucky. However, his luck wasn't bad either. The artists under me are all busy. Currently, there are still 2 who are charging their batteries. I'm not sure about the specific roles in this script. I only found out that Director Li is preparing to shoot this drama after asking around. Therefore, he specially went to read the original novel of this drama and took a fancy to the male lead. She didn't know how the director would arrange the other roles. If there are any suitable small roles, I have 2 artists who are temporarily free. I can let them take a look. The director can arrange some roles for them. Vertex. Chapter 42:17. A few guest roles wouldn't affect anything. They could even let Chua Xiang and Yin Yang show their faces. The main thing was that this drama would definitely be a hit. Showing their faces wouldn't cause them to lose popularity. In the future, when the drama became popular, it would increase their discussion points. They definitely couldn't have too many scenes. After all, she still had to give them the script. When the time came and there were suitable ones, they would definitely focus on the main roles. Then we can let them come over and try. The other characters in this drama don't have a lot of scenes. The main focus is on the male lead. Li Chengfu was thinking that if they were suitable, he would definitely arrange it. Okay, Then I'll let them in. Li Chengfu. Was this a manager who brought 3 leggings with her? Did she bring everyone with her wherever she went? He suspected that she was doing it on purpose. Tanghua was really doing it on purpose. As long as she was interested in a drama, she would definitely bring the artists under her to walk around and show their faces. Maybe this was an opportunity? Other than classes, they didn't have any other activities. They might as well come out and look for business. Zhuoxiang and Yin Zhuyun were also called in. Tanghua introduced them to the basic information. When he saw the 2 of them, Li Chengfu's eyes lit up again. Zhuoxiang was playful and cute. Yin Zhuyun exuded the aura of a middle-aged woman. They were both very attractive. He quickly recalled the roles in the script in his mind. In the end, his gaze fell on Yin Zhuyun. He quickly flipped through the script and said to Tanghua, I think Yin Zhuyun might be able to try out for the role of the Empress Dowager. If there's anyone in the palace who is sincere to the emperor and wishes him well, it's the Empress Dowager, who isn't his biological mother. On the surface, the Empress Dowager's attitude isn't very good. Before the emperor had the ability to read minds, he had misunderstood her. But after he had the ability to read minds, he realized that she was the one who was truly good to him. However, after the emperor had the ability to read minds, the Empress Dowager always thought that he was crazy. So, this role will still require some acting skills. Let's give it a try first. Thus, Yin Zhuyun also got the script for the Empress Dowager to read. She would be able to rehearse with Hao Yi later. Zhuoxiang is a very young lady. I can only see youth and purity in her. Li Chengfu pondered slowly. She fits the role of the emperor's cousin very well. However, this cousin is a white-skinned, black-skinned, sesame rice ball. I don't know if this girl can handle such a role. Let's take a look. Just pick 2 parts, one good and one bad. Let's see how well you can understand the role. Zhuoxiang took the script very seriously. Even if it was a show that her manager had invested in, she would still do it even if it was very tiring. Li Chengfu couldn't help but sigh. He had never seen anything like this before. The manager brought a few artists over. The artists were all like obedient children, and their attitudes were so good. Moreover, the image of these people was indeed very suitable for the role he had chosen. If the final result was good, it would be a good thing. Director Li, I'll invest 10 million in you first. You just have to make sure that the finished product is of high quality. If you don't have enough money, give me a call. If you need any props, you can communicate with me first. If I can't provide them, you don't need to use fake props. Li Chengfu thanked him very excitedly. His luck had really turned for the better. The 3 of them took an hour to ponder over the script. They were all very free today. Li Chengfu wasn't busy either. Even if he was, he couldn't be busy at this time. Peak. Chapter 42:18. An hour later, the 3 of them started to rehearse. Li Chengfu chose scenes that were related to the 3 of them. Tanghua did not plan to rehearse with her artists outside, in case Li Chengfu saw it and asked her to act. She was very busy now and did not have time to act. She was a manager and did not want to act. After the scenes, the 3 of them looked good. Hao Ye's performance was impeccable, and Li Chengfu was very satisfied. Yin Zhuyun's role as Empress Dowager was also very good. Especially when she acted with Hao Yi, he decided on the spot. Zhuoxiang was slightly worse, but it could be seen that she had some foundation. When the time came for training, the effect would not be bad. Hence, Li Chengfu said that the 3 of them would use it and sign the contract. Then I will provide the costumes for the 3 of them. Tanghua spoke again. In the system space, there were many costumes from different worlds. Finally, there was something that could be used. When she came, she even took some samples and showed them to Li Chengfu. When he saw the photos, Li Chengfu's lips trembled. Exquisite was not enough to describe it. The embroidery on it was superb. Li Chengfu felt that he had a beautiful dream today. After Tanghua left with her people, he held the contracts in his hands and woke up. It was not a beautiful dream. Not long after, he received a huge sum of money. His heart almost jumped out of his chest. The money was in place and most of the props were provided. Then all that was left was all the actors. He definitely could not choose actors who were famous. He would go to the school and look for them one by one. Then, He would look for some old actors who were not famous but had good acting skills. According to the market price, this expenditure should not be too big. Actually, there were other supporting roles in this drama that were more outstanding. It was just a matter of whether those old actors were willing to act. Now that he had money, Lee Chung-fu was full of enthusiasm. He started to look for actors in a hurry. Naturally, the news that Lee Chung-fu was going to act in this drama slowly spread. After understanding the original novel, many people were interested in it and wanted to fight for the role. There were also some who were willing to invest a few million. There was even a person behind an artist who was willing to invest 10 million, but was rejected by Lee Chung-fu. When Tanghua heard this, she invested another 20 million. Jutao Lee Chung-fu. Actually, he didn't think of agreeing. That artist's acting isn't good, and he doesn't want to ruin the script. However, since the money was already in his account, there was no point in rejecting it. He could only do his best to make this show. Perhaps he could buy the rights to broadcast it online. In the future, if it was approved, there would be television stations that would take a liking to it. Therefore, Lee Chung-fu was very serious about this matter. He did not let go of any details and felt that every place had to be carefully thought out. The boss behind the male artist who valued the role of the emperor felt that it was not worth it to spend 20 million yuan on him, so he sent him to another production team. Lee Chung-fu felt that it was better to announce the male lead as soon as possible and inform Tanghua about it. So, Tanghua brought her props, costumes, and most importantly, Haoyu to take a photo shoot. Lee Chung-fu looked at the costumes and props brought by Tanghua and couldn't help but put on a pair of gloves to touch them. Sure enough, the embroidery was exquisite. It was a little different from the costumes unearthed in history, but it didn't affect its beauty at all. After taking the photo, Lee Chung-fu couldn't wait to make the official announcement. Haoyu cooperated and reposted it. Tanghua also reposted it. After the artists under her saw it, they also reposted it. When Xingchen Corporation saw it, they also reposted it. This was their ace manager. As for Tanghua investing in this show, they didn't know. If Tanghua didn't take the initiative to say, no one would ask. She could get resources for Haoyu, and the company couldn't wait. It wasn't a loss, so it was only right to repost it and support it. Lee Chung-fu didn't expect that a web drama would end up on the hot search list. Among them, Yu Jiwei and He Lei's reposts were the main reason why this show became a trending topic. The two of them had a total of 10 million fans. After they reposted it and supported it, they naturally received extra attention from their fans. To be honest, the majority of netizens were attracted by Haoyu's appearance after seeing his photo. When the search results came out, they found out that this was the return of the popular young actor. Some congratulated him, some welcomed him, and some mocked him. They started to spread rumors about him. Actually, he didn't have any rumors. Most of them were made up by some people. Tanghua didn't care about it for the time being. However, the system helped her write down the names of the people who had defamed Haoyu. Lee Chung-fu was very fast. In a month, everything was ready. Haoyu and the other two were packed and thrown into the production team. Tanghua assigned a driver, assistant, and bodyguard to each of them. The peak. Chapter 42:19. In addition, she was the biggest investor. She moved everything into the villa and arranged for people to send the props to the production team. These were all professional bodyguards that she hired. These things were all exquisite, so they had to be careful, especially for every weapon. She asked Qi Xiao to help her seal the opening with something to prevent the sword from being blind. There was no problem using them for filming. The sharp openings had all been removed with the help of immortals. It was impossible for mortals to let the sharp openings reappear. In terms of safety, it was over. When the camera started rolling, what made Lee Chung-fu even more surprised was that Haoyu actually knew martial arts. What kind of treasure did he pick up? He had also investigated Haoyu and found out some things from back then. He felt that although Haoyu had left the industry all these years, he really did not waste it. Originally, when it was the emperor's turn to write and write memorials, the camera would be divided into the hands and the actors. There would not be a scene of him writing the entire time, because not all actors were well-versed in calligraphy. But this was not necessary for Haoyu at all. All the camera needed was the full body shot, bit by bit. Haoyu's calligraphy was actually very good. When it came to the part where the emperor showed his skills and avoided the assassins, Li Chengfu realized that Hao Yi was especially handsome when playing with the sword. He could not help but film for a while. Li Chengfu also realized that Yin Zhuyun was not simple. This woman knew all kinds of etiquette, tea ceremony, and flower arrangement. These were really not difficult. She was already at a professional level. Therefore, Yin Zhuyun's Empress Dowager was not only noble, but also alive because of these things. She did all these things very naturally, without the slightest bit of pretense. Hence, Li Chengfu cast his gaze on Zhuoxiang. He wondered what kind of surprise this young girl would bring to him. Zhuoxiang did not disappoint him. Originally, there was a water sleeve dance in the script. Because Zhuoxiang's hands were not bad and she had some dancing skills, after the teacher taught her, her performance was especially perfect. She could even dance in the palm of a person's hand without any pressure at all. Li Chengfu's heart thumped every day. Tanghua saw that everyone was performing very well. The props she provided were also used. With one look, she knew that the setting was not skimped on. She was also in a good mood. This drama was already better than many star dramas. There should be a surprise when the time came. On the other hand, He had already finished filming. He even came over to watch the drama. Sister Tang, Changxian is really not simple. In the end, she made a comeback. As long as the audience sees the final scene, they will not hate her character. Tanghua nodded her head. Sister Tanghua? He said nonchalantly. What's there to be disappointed about? If this show can succeed, it will be the greatest benefit for me. Changxian's explanation made the audience feel that she was actually quite friendly towards Fanxi's character. Didn't Sister Tang say that she just needed to focus on acting? There is no need to think so much. Good brother. You look like a real emperor. He praised. He looked at Hao Yi, who was filming like a little fanboy. As expected, a good brother was a good brother. Dear host, there's a lot of bad news about Hao Yi on the internet, especially the rumor that Hao Yi is a kept man. That's why he took on the male lead role as soon as he came back. Chapter 42:20. Got it. I'll get the company to release a statement to make our stance clear. Tanghua wasn't surprised that Qidong would do such a thing. Let them continue to slander him. Hao Yi doesn't have any dirt on him. If they slander him too much, there will be a backlash. Have they kept all the evidence of Hao Ye's slandering? Don't worry. We have kept all the evidence and can use it anytime. Tanghua negotiated with the company and asked them to clear Hao Ye's name on the company's account. They didn't have to say much. They just had to say that it was a rumor and that Hao Yi was innocent. The company would investigate the source of the photo and clear Hao Ye's name. This was of no use to the ghostwriters and anti-fans. Tanghua also knew that this was just an attitude. She also asked Hao Yi to post a message with a few simple words. The innocent knows they are innocent. He didn't have to say much. This post was just for his fans and to give the public an explanation. As for the anti-fans who wouldn't let it go, it wasn't within his consideration. Just focus on filming. I'll help you with the rest. Hao Yi replied, okay. Hao Yi didn't care how the netizens scolded him now. No matter how bad the words were, he would pretend not to see them. After seeing Hao Ye's post, the artists under Tanghua all reposted it. Except for Yu Jiwei, who didn't have a phone, no one left. They all tried to prove Hao Ye's innocence. This was the first time they had seen such a scene in the entertainment industry. Among all the artists, only He had more fans. He's core fanbase was controlled by the system. Under his control, those brainless fans who wanted to cause trouble had already been fired. Those who stayed would listen to the system and wouldn't cause trouble. They even liked He's post. Li Chengfu, who was busy filming, didn't pay attention to these things. He didn't believe that Tanghua couldn't handle such a small matter. She must have other ideas. As a tool, all he needed to do was focus on filming. At the moment, there were all kinds of scoldings online. Unknowingly, a post to boycott, I only want to rule the world appeared. The ghostwriters and anti-fans seemed to have taken stimulants and didn't want to let it go. For 3 days, Hao Yi only made a simple clarification statement and did not say anything else. The ghostwriters and anti-fans did not give up. The passers-by who were watching the show could no longer sit still. Passerby A. You guys said that Hao Yi is being kept by someone, but those few pictures are still blurry. Isn't he just standing beside a luxury car, and he's being seen as having a sugar daddy? Passerby B. I'm just a passerby, but even I can't take it anymore. I thought that you guys would release even bigger melons, but in the end, you're just saying the same few words over and over again. If you're so capable, why don't you catch me in bed? Passerby C. That's right. I've commented before that we shouldn't talk too much about such groundless things without any evidence. Otherwise, we might end up getting slapped in the face. Besides, it had already been a few days, and it was still the same few pictures. There was no concrete evidence at all. Was it so popular to slander people without any basis? I promise, I'll just say what's on there. In the end, I'll be beaten up into a fan of Hao Yi by those idiots. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have known who Hao Yi was. I even went to search for him and found out that he's so handsome that even gods and men would be angered. Passerby A. Hao Yi should have debuted 10 years ago. After he debuted, he was popular for a while. Later on, for some reason, he suddenly disappeared. I heard that he was banned by the company. Speaking of which, if he had a sugar daddy, would the company dare to ban him? I suspect that when he returned to play the male lead, he was seen as blocking the way. That's why they specially hired ghostwriters to slander him. Chapter 42:21. Passerby C. Yes, yes, yes. You're absolutely right. Isn't the entertainment industry all like that now? They treat us netizens as fools. The key is that some fools have really been led by others. Troll Army 1. You guys are Hao Ye's fans, right? Stop being so reasonable. Don't think that you can speak up for Hao Yi just because you have an alias. Troll Army 2. Group, money. Troll Army 3. Brother, if there's money, let's earn it together. Passerby A. Get lost. Hater Seema. Passerby B. In this day and age, can't you speak up for someone? Once you speak up, you're Hao Ye's fan. Alright, just based on these few words of yours, I'll be Hao Ye's fan from now on. Troll Army 5. Go back and lick your god's feet. Stop embarrassing yourself here. Passerby C. Troll Seema. In Tangwa's expectations, Hao Ye's fans did not quarrel with the trolls. They were all restrained to their own territory. Passerby A, however, could not stand it. After saying a few more words, he was turned into Hao Ye's fan by the trolls and trolls. Hence, the trolls and trolls started to fight. For a moment, it was a heated debate. People who saw it felt like their worldview had been destroyed. At first, when Qidong saw the situation on the internet, he was quite happy. There were two reasons why he wanted to mess with Hao Yi. Firstly, Hao Yi had once stumbled upon his scandal. Secondly, Hao Yi was too talented. Among their group of people, Hao Yi was the most outstanding. No matter what he did, Hao Yi basically understood it after watching it twice. As for the others, they had to work hard and rack their brains before they could barely grasp it. For example, him, Juhi Shu Yuan. He knew too well that if Hao Yi really used this drama to show himself in front of people, the biggest possibility was that he would catch up very quickly. Others might not understand, but he was in the same room as Hao Yi back then. That kind of shocking talent was too scary. It had been 3 days since the incident. Qidong thought that Hao Ye's company might not be able to take the pressure and that there would be some trouble with the production team. But he did not expect that Hao Yi and Morningstar Company would not do anything other than make a statement at the beginning. Until today, 3 days later, when more and more people stood on Hao Ye's side and trolls started to fight, he felt that something was wrong. In particular, the drama that Hao Yi was currently filming and the original novel were both trending. Why did he have a feeling that this matter was helping Hao Yi advertise? He also wanted to release some concrete evidence so that everyone would believe that Hao Yi had hooked up with a rich woman. However, Hao Yi was too clean. It was impossible to find any major mistakes. The passers-by and the haters were still arguing. Hao Yi had been filming in the set and had not left at all. All the sets were set up by the production crew. Most of the props were provided by Tangwa, so they did not need to move. The only ones who left the set were Hao Yi and the other two. If they did not have any scenes the next day, they would be sent back to the Tangwa villa to rest. The paparazzi quickly took pictures of Hao Yi being sent to the high-class villa area. When Qidong got the photo, he was a little surprised. Could it be that he hit the jackpot and Hao Yi really got close to a rich woman? A trace of excitement appeared on Qidong's face. He hadn't expected that after so many years, Hao Yi still wouldn't be able to avoid such customs. Yes, in this circle, without a background, it was simply difficult to move an inch. Even the incomparably noble Hao Yi could only do as the Romans do. Qidong did not hesitate and asked someone to publicize these photos. Hao Yi, aren't you living a good life outside the circle? Why did you come back? Peak. Chapter 42-22. Good brother, you're being photographed again. Hile was especially concerned about this matter. Because of his status as an artist, he could only watch as the haters scolded him. His heart felt like it was being scratched by a cat. He wished he could do it himself and scold these people until their mothers couldn't recognize them. If Hao Yi was said to have hooked up with a rich woman, then weren't all of them hooked up with a rich woman like their agent? Hao Yi glanced at them indifferently and continued to eat the hot pot. His manager had said to leave this matter to her. She wasn't worried, so why should he be? When Tanghua saw Hilei's anxious look, she pursed her lips and smiled. Xiaolei, why don't you take a picture and share your hot pot life tonight? Hilei thought it was a good idea. It was already so late. If he posted a picture of hot pot online, the group of children would definitely cry. Those young fans usually complained about losing weight, so he would eat hot pot in the middle of the night for them to see if they were greedy. All the artists under Tanghua had to practice martial arts. Even if they didn't practice their moves, they had to practice their inner strength every day. Relatively speaking, their energy consumption was very high. They didn't need to control their diet at all. This was also why Tanghua insisted that they practice martial arts together. They didn't need to control their diet and could maintain a good figure. The other artists could only be envious. Being an artist was already stressful. It was so pitiful that they couldn't eat and drink well. Hilei was about to start taking pictures. He sat on Hao Ye's left. This was the first time he took a picture with his idol. No one was allowed to snatch it away. Naturally, the right seat belonged to Tanghua. Everyone knew what was good for them, especially In Zhuyun. She instantly understood why Tanghua wanted to take a picture of Hilei. She was trying to clear Hao Ye's name, thinking that from now on, everyone would be envious of them for having a rich manager. She actually felt a little smug. Hao Yi also thought of Tangwadu's intention. In fact, it's not that he doesn't surf the internet, but he also took advantage of his free time to record the marketing accounts that slandered him. All the evidence was collected by him. He hadn't forgotten about the internet trolls in the past. Halfway through, he had become a lawyer. Now that he was back, with such ability, he would definitely take revenge. He would teach this group of marketing accounts, who liked to talk nonsense, a lesson. However, he still had to discuss this matter with his manager. Also, he had to wait until he finished filming this drama. However, it could be submitted earlier. The court wouldn't be opened so quickly for this kind of thing. According to Hao Ye's calculations, Hilei took a photo that he was very satisfied with. The most prominent person in the shot was him and Hao Yi. Tanghua saw that the total number of positions she occupied was pitifully small. She felt that she should arrange more work for Hilei in the future. He was her idol every day. How could he chase after her all the way here? System. Ha ha ha, this is the first time. Host, you finally understand how much pain you're feeling right now. Take a few more photos to make a grid, Tanghua suggested. I have such a nice house, and you only use it to take photos? Hilei was stunned. Isn't it good to take a photo with your idol? Was background important? Even Zhuoxiang reacted. She burst into laughter and said to Hilei, what Sister Tang means is that she wants to use these photos, especially this mansion, to clear her good brother's name. Hilei finally understood. He very reluctantly took a photo of the background. However, he still kept the photo that he had taken with Hao Yi at the beginning. He even planned to put it in the first photo. After taking the photo, he posted on Weibo. The top. Chapter 42-23. Hilei, the first time we've gathered after filming, we're having hot pot at our manager's place. How yi tangwa zhua xiang at Inzhu. What a pity that both of you aren't here. Don't know when we'll meet again. Yu Ji Wei Jiang Chi at the same time. Zhua Xiang and the rest posted photos from different angles, showing off some of the luxurious parts of the villa. When these posts were posted, Weibo exploded. Hence, many people held back their greed and started to identify the real and fake villa. The more they looked, the more they drooled. This was a real villa. Everyone also understood that this was Hao Ye's response. Some people said that he had been sent to the villa, but they didn't know that he lay and the rest were inside. What was even more unbelievable was that this villa belonged to their manager. The netizens were speechless. The others stared at the activity on Weibo and saw that the discussion was in full swing. Many people said that their faces hurt and they couldn't help but laugh. Tangwa didn't mind that her identity was exposed at all. It would be exposed sooner or later, so she might as well let everyone know that she was not a simple manager. Since she wanted to promote her artists, she would do it high up. She already had 6 artists under her management, so she wouldn't accept any new artists in the short term. At least, she would wait until this batch of artists had won the highest achievement award. Therefore, she also posted a blog post. Tangwa, a few days ago, there was a rumor online that Hao Yi was being kept by a rich woman. Yes, the rumor was right. Hao Yi at He Lei Yu Jiwei Jiang Chi at Injuyan Zhuaxiang. They're all kept by me. Now they're staying at my place and eating my food. Does anyone have any objections? When the netizens saw this post, only one word came to their minds: arrogant. This manager was too arrogant. However, he seemed to be very confident. When Tangwa posted, Zhuaxiang was the first to play tricks. She quickly reposted, Xiang greets Sugar Daddy Tangwa. In Zhuyun and the rest also reposted. Hao Yi also reposted and added, Sugar Daddy, please take care of us. Tangwa. At this moment, the entire internet was paralyzed. When Li Chengfu saw this, he quickly updated his blog post, explaining how Tangwa had invested in the film and the props she had provided for the film crew. He also posted all these records. He could tell that Tangwa wanted to do something big. In any case, he wouldn't lose anything by coming out at this time. In the end, Li Chengfu added, if you want to know how many exquisite things are in the show, please pay more attention to I Only Want to Rule the World. When this advertisement was released, Li Chengfu felt that he was a little genius. He was sure that many people would be interested in the show from now on. Perhaps after the auction, it could be sold for a good price. Web dramas? They wouldn't be web dramas anymore. They would only be dramas that had been sold for broadcast on the internet. Hee. That night, the netizens did not need to sleep. Hao Yi ignored the uproar on the internet. Instead, he was discussing with Tangwa about his plan to sue the marketing account. Go ahead and sue them. These irresponsible marketing accounts are all trying to gain popularity. Sue them as you wish. I'll take care of everything for you. The executives of Morning Star Company were all asleep. However, they were woken up by the phone call. They were already very sleepy, but when they saw such a big thing happening on the internet, their sleepiness disappeared. All the executives went to the group chat. The first to speak was manager Lu Yimao. Little Tang is a hidden rich girl. Damn, I was wondering why she would do that kind of thing with an artist. Peak. Chapter 42-24. What's the matter? Lu Yimao explained the matter to them. The higher-ups were silent. What kind of weird manager was she to bring an artist to practice marksmanship? Did she have too much money to burn? In the end, they unanimously decided to let Tang Bingyao do whatever she wanted. Ever since Chang Xian left, the artists under her management had been getting better and better. Because of this, the company was doing better and better. Lu Yimao, then it's settled. Let's pretend that we don't know anything. As long as it's good for the company, Tang Bingyao can do whatever she wants. Tang Bingyao is focused on promoting artists, so she will definitely have her ways to get resources. However, if the company has any good resources in the future, we will need to send them to her first. We won't lose anything. Manager Su, isn't that obvious? Tang Bingyao might not even care. She's investing 30 million yuan and sponsoring all kinds of props. Li Chengfu is probably laughing in his sleep. The ones who had the most trouble sleeping were Qi Dong and Chang Xian. Chung Xian's eyes were a little red. Her ex-manager turned out to be a rich girl. She immediately had a thought in her mind. Did Tang Bingyao dislike her? Otherwise, why would she wait until she left before using her own resources to nurture an artist? On the other hand, Qidong was going crazy with jealousy. Why didn't he have such a good manager? He didn't even need to do anything to receive so much. However, he wasn't worried that Tang Bingyao would seek revenge. His backer was Sister Yang. Not many people dared to provoke her. Even rich girls couldn't. However, at this time, it was useless to defame Hao Yi. So, he could only give up. However, he had to find a way to get the resources after Hao Ye's drama. With his experience, it was easy for him to get the resources. In this industry, sometimes, money didn't mean anything. It also depended on relationships and favors. Chung Xian couldn't sleep that night. The world had gone crazy. Originally, she wanted to slap Tangwa in the face. But she didn't get off to a good start. Her previous drama was already in post-production. So, she felt that the response would be very good after it aired. However, because of He Lei's role as Fan Shi, Mi Yashua's glory would be stolen. At least half of the attention would be stolen. If it wasn't for He Lei's role as Fan Shi, Chung Xian was certain that her role as Mi Yashua would be the most outstanding. Forget it. I'll take it one step at a time. This world is different. Because her career wasn't going well, Chung Xian looked at the child that the original owner gave birth to and felt a little impatient. The next morning, Tangwa logged into Weibo and found that many people had left comments under the latest blog post. Patron, what do you think of me? I can sing, tell jokes, and warm your bed. When you're sad, I'll make you happy. When you're happy, I'll make you happy. Sugar Daddy, please take care of me. I want to experience this kind of happiness too. Tangwa had already expected that she would gain a lot of fans, but she was still a little surprised that she gained hundreds of thousands of fans in one night. Furthermore, some fans helped her create a super post called My Story with My Sugar Daddy. Hao Yi and the others had already been sent to the set. He Lei, this little fanboy, insisted on going to watch Hao Ye's filming. He said that he wanted to watch it live and gain experience. After learning about it, Tangwa decided to see if there was any work that could be arranged for He Lei. Because the drama had not been aired yet, He Lei still gave people the impression that he was a popular young actor who did not have any works. She discussed it with the company and did not intend to deliberately create hype. At most, she would take advantage of the situation that happened to Hao Yi. That way, the effect would be better. The next day, Tangwa arranged for He Lei to be interviewed by a TV station. She packed He Lei up so that he would not have to watch Hao Ye's filming every day. He was already an artist, yet he still chased after celebrities and did not do his job properly. System, dear host, does your conscience hurt? Tangwa, I'm doing this for Xiao Lei's own good. Attending more events will help him grow. She did some calculations and realized that Yu Jiwei had already been on the island for more than 2 months. So, she turned on her live stream and the camera fell on Yu Jiwei's room. Chapter 42-25. The house in front of her had changed a lot. There were all kinds of things around the house. Many of them were handmade by Yu Jiwei. Tangwa could only see these clearly after she turned off the bullet screen. Otherwise, the screen would definitely be filled with comments. At this time, there were only 3 people who were still holding on. There was also a man and a woman. The 2 of them were able to hold on until now because of Yu Jiwei. However, because of the restrictions of the rules, they were not as comfortable as Yu Jiwei. They were now tanned and skinny. What the 2 of them were doing now was to look for things every day to exchange with Yu Jiwei and fill their stomachs. It was not a problem for them to hold on until the end. However, Tangwa felt that in their situation, if they continued to hold on, they would attract a lot of ridicule. Because all the things they needed were exchanged with Yu Jiwei. They might even lose popularity. However, the reward for holding on until the end was too good. No one could resist this temptation. As for the 2 of them, one was a streamer and the other was a blogger who made short videos. In terms of appearance, they were not outstanding. However, it was true that they could endure hardships. Yu Jiwei's fans felt that the 2 of them were thick-skinned and had held on until now because of Yu Jiwei. Moreover, this was a live broadcast. It was within the rules. If Yu Jiwei did not agree to exchange, he would definitely be accused of being selfish. Actually, Yu Jiwei really did not care about the thoughts of the two of them. To be able to exchange things with him was their ability. It was not that he did not notice that the two of them were deliberately trying to gain popularity. After all, he had been in the industry for some time. Even in the industry, such situations were common. Given the current situation, he really could not do anything to the two of them. Since he could not do anything, he would exchange with them within the rules. He tried his best to make his things exquisite, beautiful, and delicious. Even if they were of similar value, it would give people the impression that the two of them were taking advantage of each other. Faced with the two of them deliberately trying to get close, he acted neither too close nor too close. He did not want to be stuck to by the two of them after the challenge. He finally knew what it meant to be thick-skinned. Yu Jiwei did not know the two of them before. Actually, the streamer and blogger were the especially shameless kind. They could endure hardships, but now that they had such a good opportunity to rise up, they would definitely not let it go. Moreover, the final reward was so generous. There was less than a month left. The entire country's audience was watching. They couldn't give up halfway. Lose face? Their selling point was to stuff their faces into their pockets. As long as they could become famous and earn money, they could be shameless. Dear host, these two people have been trying to ride on your popularity and take advantage of your artists. The system briefly told Tanghua about what had happened recently, and it felt a little angry. That's because Xiaoyu is too popular now. There will definitely be people trying to ride on his popularity. It's normal. Actually, what happened on the island wasn't too much. As long as they do not purposely buy advertisements or use marketing accounts to tie Xiaoyu up, I will let this matter rest. If it were anyone else, as long as they were willing to go all out, they would have made the same choice. It was a little shameless, but it was human nature. Xiaoyu's way of handling this matter shows his attitude. You see, Xiaoyu doesn't mind them coming to exchange items, but he does mind them deliberately trying to get close to him. He has been keeping a certain distance from them, probably to prevent them from using him to create hype. I'm afraid the two of them want to use this opportunity to enter the entertainment industry. Vertex. Chapter 42-26. I just feel very unhappy. Now, many viewers are saying that the two of them are shameless. There are many shameless people in this world. You just have to get used to it. If the viewers are scolding these two, what about their fans? In this era, Tanghua felt the most important thing to take note of is the control of their fans. It's good to have fans, but you can't let your fans cause trouble. Most of the fans are young and can't be provoked. As an artist, you need to be a representative figure to guide your fans well. This way, you won't cause a series of online violence. Ever since these two are basking in Xiaoyu's limelight, many viewers feel that they are annoying and taking advantage of them. Some of the more extreme viewers even scolded them for being shameless. These two have a lot of fans, and they scold each other. Most of the time, this happens when these two come over to exchange things with Xiaoyu. At other times, they are watching Xiaoyu's live broadcast seriously. After the system finished, it added another sentence. I've already restrained Xiaoyu's fans. I'm monitoring every single one of our official chat groups. They won't cause any trouble. Also, I am monitoring some of the non-official chat groups. I have created a lot of alternate accounts and have become the administrators. Those who want to cause trouble are all stopped by me. Tanghua is not stingy. Little Tongzi, you are getting better and better. The system is satisfied. Host, don't worry. You said you will let me manage all the fans of your artists. I promise I will manage them well and will not let them cause trouble. Now, our fans are called rational fans. They only talk reason and will not scold others. If there is no evidence, they will not spread rumors. They are very obedient. Then there should be no problem with Xiaoyu's side. The filming on Lone Island will end in less than a month. At that time, Xiaoyu will definitely succeed. He will have to sign a 3-year contract with Lone Island. It's not easy to arrange any work for him. Actually, Tanghua had received a lot of scripts at this time, but she is not interested in these scripts. There are male lead roles and even the second male lead roles. This shows you Jiwei's value has increased a lot. The script for the male lead role is too bad. The second male lead role script is not bad, but Lin Yiqian is not satisfied with this role. Most of these people who came to throw olive branches wanted to take advantage of the fact that Yu Jiwei was still hot right now. They wanted to strike while the iron was hot and consume his heat. A few days ago, after the fact that she was the daughter of a wealthy family was exposed, the number of people who came to offer her an olive branch decreased. Perhaps they were self-aware and knew that she was not interested in such things. As for endorsements, if there were good ones, he could accept them. This wouldn't affect the arrangement of the isolated islands officials. Tanghua helped Yu Jiwei with his endorsement. But to her surprise, Three Sheep Pig Company also wanted Yu Jiwei to speak for them. She remembered that the spokesperson for Three Sheep Pig Company was not Qidong, but Qidong had indeed been the spokesperson a long time ago. Since he was Big Sister Yang's man, it wouldn't be a problem for him to continue renewing the contract. Qidong is now endorsing some high-end brands. He feels that a company like a pig farm is a little beneath his status. Tanghua was a little speechless. This is the #1 pig farm in the country. Not only do they raise pigs, but they also produce all kinds of meat products. There are all kinds of low-end, mid-end, and high-end products. I heard that there are some high-end meats that you have to book a few months in advance. Why would you think that it's cheap? Don't you know what you're worth? Vertex. Chapter 42:27. Anyway, that's what happened according to the information I found. Sister Yang originally wanted to give this endorsement to Qidong, but in the end, he used it as a favor and promoted many people in the industry. Now, those people are grateful to him. He used a lot of the resources that Sister Yang gave him to do favors. This is another reason why he is so popular. Why is Three Sheep Pig Company interested in hiring Xiao Yu as their spokesperson? Tanghua looked at the information in her hands. Why didn't they do it as a favor for Qidong? Didn't you say that no one is stupid? Sister Yang might have known that Qidong despised the pig farming company. What is his background? Even if she likes young and handsome men, she is still a boss. She started from scratch and has seen everything. She just didn't point it out. I guess that she liked Xiao Yu's image. Most likely, it was because he lived comfortably on the isolated island and even raised chicks. In addition, he was very down-to-earth in everything he did. Madam Host, I think this endorsement is very suitable for Xiao Yu. It doesn't feel strange at all. Look at him now. He knows how to do everything. Raising chickens, building houses, making controlled animals, weaving baskets. This is what makes him stand out. People are interested in him. Not bad. Xiao Tongzi has become better. You are flattering me. I learned from you. That's why I am so knowledgeable. Tanghua, you are also good at flattering people. System, sob. Since Three Sheep Pig Company had already thrown out an olive branch, Tanghua decided to accept it. Perhaps Qidong felt that this kind of endorsement would lower his status. Speaking of which, it was true. After all, Qidong was now an award-winning actor and an artist who only endorsed high-end brands. But Yu Jiwei is different. He is more down-to-earth. Accepting this endorsement will not make him feel out of place at all. On the same day, Tanghua contacted the person in charge of Three Sheep Pig Company to discuss the contract. Both parties agreed to meet the next day. Based on Yu Jiwei's current situation on the island, he will have no problem living until the end. So, Three Sheep Pig Company offered a high price. There is also no problem with the contract. It will last for 3 years. It could be seen that this company saw the value of Yu Jiwei. Both parties were satisfied with the contract and were just waiting for Yu Jiwei to come out. As expected, the streamer and blogger did not show any signs of quitting. Tanghua did not bother with them and asked the system to monitor their movements. Her gaze fell on Jiang Qiqi. After contacting her, she knew that Jiang Qiqi was also about to finish filming. In the production team of I Only Want to Rule the World, Zhuoxiang and Yin Zhuyun had about the same number of scenes. Tanghua decided to let Zhuoxiang read the script first. Zhuoxiang was still young. For the time being, she did not want her to participate in any variety shows. Excessive exposure would not do Zhuoxiang any good. When the time came for her to act, it would be easy for the audience to fall out of character. Participating in variety shows once or twice was enough. Too much exposure was not good. As for In Ju-yoon, she asked the system to help pay attention to the casting of those directors. Once there was a role that suited In Ju-yoon, she would let the other party go for an audition. Because at her age, she couldn't play the female lead of a contemporary TV series. If there were some good scripts, she would still fight for the role of an older female lead. 1 month later, Tangwa brought Jwa to an audition. She successfully obtained the second female lead of a certain script. This role was more outstanding. Jwa performance satisfied the director. It was a Shinsha drama. For this, Tangwa discussed with the crew. She could provide some props and all of Jwa costumes. The peak. Chapter 42-28. She had a lot of clothes for immortals. Not long after, In Ju-yoon also successfully got a role. It was a modern fantasy drama with a bit of magic. Tangwa brought In Ju-yoon to the set and discussed with the crew. She could provide props, especially the costumes In Ju-yoon would wear. She could also provide what the other actors needed. It was a kind of investment and also a way to raise In Ju-yoon's status. She had Western magic costumes. She asked Margaret to get some for her. Margaret was overjoyed. The school bell finally had a use for her. Did this mean that the school bell was coming to see her soon? Empress Dowager Chen looked at these and felt a little itchy. If she could move, she could also provide the school bell with all kinds of palace items. The modern fantasy drama, which the director wasn't sure about, was improved by a level because of Tangwa's props, especially the costumes, props, weapons, and decorations provided by Tangwa. It was as if they had really stepped into the Western magic world. They only needed to use the rest of the money to decorate the set. Then, Tangwa sold some blueprints to them. She asked Margaret for them. These blueprints were about the buildings of the Western magic world. She even gave them the system. In Ju-yoon, she finally knew why her agent was so rich. Look, her business acumen and knowledge are things that many people can't catch up to in a few lifetimes. System, wrong. Hundreds of lifetimes can't catch up. Jiang Qiqi had finished filming and was going to promote. When the poster was released, many people were surprised by Jiang Qiqi's image. They felt that Jiang Qiqi's role as the female villain was really good. At the same time, He Lei's drama was announced. Because Lee Chung-fu was very good and didn't lack money, Hao Ye's filming was a little slow. It would probably take another 2 months. As soon as Yu Ji-wei came out, Tangwa packed him up and sent him to Three Sheep Company. When he came back to his senses, he realized that his agent had given him such a big endorsement. Who didn't know this company? The pork was delicious and the quality was good. Xiao Huahua, the hen, was also famous. Yu Ji-wei decided that he wanted to raise Xiao Huahua alone. He even asked Tangwa to help hire someone to take care of Xiao Huahua. On this day, Tangwa received a call from Yu Ji-wei. What's wrong? Sister Tang, the person in charge of Three Sheep Company, said that they have a chicken farm and hope to invite Xiao Huahua to be their spokesperson. Tangwa, to be honest, Xiao Huahua was much more famous than Yu Ji-wei on the internet. Many people thought that Yu Ji-wei's name was hard to remember, but they could remember that he was the celebrity who raised Xiao Huahua. Yu Ji-wei was left speechless too. Tangwa, what do you mean? If you want Xiao Huahua to appear on screen, you can arrange it yourself. Xiao Huahua is yours now, but make sure to take good care of him. Tangwa, yes. Xiao Huahua's value is different now. The next day, Xiao Huahua was also sent to Yu Ji-wei's side. Both the man and the chicken were on the same page. When the news was released, the entire internet couldn't help laughing. Chapter 42-29. In reality, the Three Sheep Company's foresight was as good as ever. With Xiao Huahua's help, their new chicken farm quickly became known throughout the country. Everyone in the country recognized a chicken called Xiao Huahua. It was said that it laid 2 eggs a day. When Yu Ji-wei came back from filming the endorsement, everyone couldn't help but tease him, saying that Xiao Huahua was more famous than him. Someone even called to invite Yu Ji-wei to take Xiao Huahua to a competition, but he rejected it. Filming an advertisement was nothing. The competition was fine, But he didn't want Xiao Huahua to be tired out and receive bad treatment. He didn't expect Xiao Huahua to earn money. He could earn money himself, so it was no problem for him to support Xiao Huahua. There were also some variety shows that invited Yu Jiwei to participate, but he rejected them. Compared to participating in variety shows, he still preferred acting. Moreover, actors were overly exposed and formed a variety show style. No matter what role they played in the future, it would make them feel out of character. For the sake of the long term, he should participate less in those shows. Next, it was time for Tanghua and the production team to discuss the contract. It was close to 5 million yuan, so the production team readily transferred the money to Xingchen Company. After deducting all the taxes and splitting the profits, Yu Jiwei received his share. He was quite satisfied with this. In fact, he had been living quite comfortably on the isolated island during this period of time. There was no noise of the city, no cell phone, and no electronic products. Every day, he made all kinds of gadgets and played with Xiao Huahua. It had been a long time since he had experienced such peace. After the money was transferred, it was time for the two parties to discuss the contract. After winning the challenge, Yu Jiwei had to sign a 3-year contract with the production team. This contract would include some resources that would definitely be given to him. If he performed well in the 3 years, the production team would use more resources for him. Hao Yi was worried about controlling the contract. Although his manager was very capable, he felt that some companies like to set up traps, so he took advantage of his free time to follow them. Actually, this contract could be rejected before it was signed. In other words, he could only take 5 million yuan and not have the company be responsible for the resources for the next 3 years. After Tanghua and Hao Yi read the contract, they picked out some ambiguous sentences and hoped that the production team could change them. It was a contract. It was only called a contract when both parties were satisfied. Even without the contract with the Island Program Group, Tanghua could still make Yuji popular. Now, they had a lot of capital to talk about this. The production crew also seemed to know that Yu Jiwei was not an artist they could easily bully. On the contract, some changes were made. Tanghua felt that the only thing that needed to be changed was that the producers could not give Yu Jiwei all the shoddy productions. As for whether Yu Jiwei would accept them or not, he had the right to reject them. As a result, the contract became that the production team would provide resources to Yu Jiwei to achieve a win-win situation, and Yu Jiwei would not have to listen to the company's arrangements. To put it bluntly, the company would provide resources to Yu Jiwei, and they would share the profits together. This contract gave him more freedom. Although Yu Jiwei was popular and he had Tanghua as his agent, some resources could not be obtained easily. They still needed a middleman to pull the strings. Obviously, Tanghua was using the producers as a go-between. During this period, Tanghua could also arrange other things for Yu Jiwei when she was free. There was no conflict. Yu Jiwei did not expect that he would be able to fight for such great power. Sure enough, it was important to have a good agent. After signing the contract, Yu Jiwei received a lot of endorsements. The system helped him choose all the endorsements. Apparently, Yu Jiwei was going to be the male lead of a film. After knowing the general plot, Tanghua felt that he could accept it. Meanwhile, Yu Jiwei also became busy. By the time He Lei's drama aired, Hao Ye's drama had also finished filming. Cheng Xian was also very nervous. She was waiting for this drama to become popular. Then, she could use this outstanding role to get an even better role. Tanghua finally had some free time. Every day, she would help the artists under her to see if there were any good scripts. She did all this work. Most of it was done by the system. She would do the final screening. A week after He Lei's drama aired, the internet was filled with discussions about Fan Shi and Mi Yashua. So, the drama was considered to have exploded. Of course, the most explosive part was yet to come. Fans would feel sorry for Fan Shi and scold Mi Yashua. By the time the drama ended, they would feel sorry for Mi Yashua. Why didn't the two of them end up together? Because of this drama, both He Lei and Cheng Xian praised their acting skills. They perfectly portrayed their roles and crushed the male and female leads. Cheng Xian was in some trouble. The female lead hated her. Recently, the female lead had been releasing scandals about her. As a result, her reputation started to go downhill. Why don't we create some hype? We can tie up He Lei and the female lead and create some blurry pictures. For example, the two of them can act together in the middle of the night. We can divert attention and let the fans scold them, Cheng Xian's agent suggested. Cheng Xian thought about it and agreed. The peak. In just a few hours, all kinds of stories about the relationship between He Lei and the female lead were made up, as if there was really something going on between them. The female lead didn't panic because Cheng Xian had stolen half of her limelight. It was as if Cheng Xian was the female lead. She was so angry that she exposed some of Cheng Xian's scandals. She had not expected that there would be rumors about her and He Lei on the internet. Other female artists might have rejected such rumors, but not her. His glory had been suppressed, and now was the perfect opportunity to show his face. Black and red were still red. When the time came, he could clear his name and let the matter ferment for a while. It would be best if He Lei's fans came and scolded her. The worse, the better. Then, passers-by would sympathize with her. On the other hand, He Lei would lose a lot of popularity and passers-by would have a good impression of him. In short, she wouldn't lose out. Peak. Chapter 42:31. Something's not right. There's almost no sign of He Lei's fans scolding you, the female lead's manager said doubtfully. The female lead was prepared not to look at Weibo for the next few days. After all, it was uncomfortable to be scolded. When the manager said that, she quickly looked. Indeed, there were no signs of He Lei's fans scolding her. Her own fans, on the other hand, were more emotional. They asked her if she was really in a relationship with He Lei. There were also many fans who had already written small papers below. When the female lead saw this, she was so angry that she almost fainted. What made her even angrier was that there was a hot comment below He Lei's fans. If you're brother Xiao Lei's fans, please don't be agitated. Don't be affected by those groundless marketing accounts. Everyone who is brother Xiao Lei's fan knows his character. If anything happens, he will definitely give us a reasonable explanation. We reject online violence and start with us. If this matter was made up by someone and you scolded an innocent artist here, then you're smearing brother Xiao Lei's reputation. We're not sisters anymore. Let me say this first. Before there's evidence, those who scold other artists are not brother Xiao Lei's fans, nor are they my sisters. As brother Xiao Lei's fans, before there's evidence, not talking nonsense is the best protection for brother Xiao Lei. In short, I believe in brother Xiao Lei. The female lead realized that He Lei's fans were all checking in under this hot comment. They all believed that brother Xiao Lei would give them an explanation. This hot comment was posted by a big fan in the system's guidance group. As expected, the fans of Tangua's artists were all trained by him. Other than the occasional rat poop that he fired, they were all very obedient. Now, the fans were all like this. Whenever they encountered something, the big fans would guide them in the group and lead the rhythm. They were all used to thinking more and wouldn't be like brainless flies that laid eggs everywhere. Tangua temporarily took over He Lei's Weibo because he had to work now and didn't have time to deal with these things. She saw that most of the comments were fans waiting for an explanation. She posted, "He Lei, everyone, please wait. I'll give you a reasonable explanation soon. I'm currently collecting evidence. I'm very happy to see that you're all so rational." Posting a message to calm people down could be considered as a reassurance pill for the fans. It would probably take a few hours for the system to organize the information. After all, He Lei had been filming for a few months. He had to filter them out one by one and select the useful ones. In order to prevent some people from making an issue of it, they would choose a video website and upload the complete video as well as the edited video. In front of the evidence, who could defame He Lei? Do you want to sue those marketing companies? Hao Yi asked. Tangua shook her head. This matter will be over soon. Some people will think that we are making a mountain out of a molehill. You should prepare to discredit your marketing accounts. After all, it's rumored that you're being kept by a rich woman. The nature of it is quite bad. Yeah, that's right. Suing those marketing accounts at this time doesn't seem to be very friendly to Xiao Lei. I want to sue those people before the show airs. What Hao Yi meant was that he would not take any jobs for the time being. Go ahead. You can rest for a while. Work has to be done step by step. Only when you have a good rest will you be able to focus better. With Tangua's permission, Hao Yi went to prepare. Within a few days, all the major marketing accounts received subpoenas. Vertex. Chapter 42-32. Hao Yi had found out about their identities through the proper channels. These accounts all had their own companies, and it was easy to find them. The marketing accounts that received the subpoena were stunned. After being in the marketing business for so many years, this was the first time they had encountered such a situation. Tongzi, help Hao Yi out. Make Weibo malfunction. We cannot delete the post during this period of time. Sometimes, you have to use extreme methods. Since you want to hit a dog, you have to hit it hard. Only then will it learn its lesson. Okay, host. The system secretly laughed. Sure enough, the host was biased. Wasn't this like a domineering CEO doting on her husband? Her husband did whatever he wanted, and she supported him. After receiving the subpoena, the accounts came back to their senses. They felt that it was funny and at the same time, worried. After finding out who was suing them, they even posted the subpoena with pictures and words. The general idea was that a certain celebrity wanted to sue them. After posting this blog post, they used another account to speculate who the artist was and exposed his identity. Wasn't he Hao Yi, who had caused a stir in the past? Many people felt that Hao Yi was trying to create hype. After all, he had been a celebrity for a long time, and he needed some publicity. After Qi Dong's side knew about it, they started to slander Hao Yi crazily. These were all fabricated stories. If they didn't clarify, it would be easy for others to make an issue out of it. Hao Yi wasn't angry at all. He recorded all the accounts that were slandering him in a small notebook. He also sued those netizens who scolded his family and insulted him. The accounts felt that it was about time. Hao Yi wouldn't be able to get away with it. Hence, they decided to delete the post secretly. After all, the subpoena was real. They couldn't leave the evidence behind. However, they didn't expect that their post couldn't be deleted. Thousands of people. The accounts panicked. They immediately went to ask the Weibo officials. The officials were also very anxious. They said that the system was under maintenance and they couldn't delete the post temporarily. Many people didn't know about it. They were still scolding and defaming Hao Yi. They started all kinds of rumors and insults. Hao Yi was overjoyed. He didn't expect to sue so many people at once. It was a big project. He felt that he couldn't handle it alone, so he asked his friends to help him. After collecting enough evidence, Hao Yi sued all the people who started the rumors. When someone exposed this news, there was a brief moment of silence on the internet. Then, everyone started discussing in disbelief. When they were discussing, they were more mindful of their words and did not dare to use profanities to humiliate the other party. Someone revealed that Hao Yi had retired from the industry a few years ago and went to study law. Chapter 42-33. Hao Ye's old fans were also stunned. Was their good brother traumatized by the marketing accounts? Was that why he went to study law? Was he waiting for this day to come? To be honest, this ending was what they wanted to see. Their good brother was indeed a man of few words. He was still as strong as before. Those who were Hao Ye's fans were also shocked. So, they were impulsive. What kind of artist did they become fans of? She could actually use her own knife to sue those marketing accounts that made up stories? No, even if he took leave from work, they had to watch this live broadcast. There were even people who wanted to watch it live. The direction of Hao Ye's slandering changed. At this moment, Hao Ye posted on his blog, "In this online world, I really hope that everyone can be responsible for what they say. Perhaps your unintentional rumor will cause serious psychological damage to someone. 7 or 8 years ago, I encountered such a thing. Now that I'm back and have just taken on a drama, I've encountered such a thing again. But I'm already different from 8 years ago. This time, I can protect myself." Hao Ye was on the hot search list again. This time, many people saw his post and want to find out what had happened back then. The system became the internet's inquisitor and turned what had happened back then into an article to explain to everyone. This article was written based on Hao Ye's own experience. Hao Ye's fans were heartbroken when they saw it. If it was someone else who had encountered such a blow, they might not be able to stand up again in their lifetime, let alone study law. The violence of online language could affect many people's lives. Some people who were mentally weaker might even end their lives because they couldn't figure it out. Isn't it too cruel to kill a person on the internet with just some groundless accusations? There was still some time before the court hearing. Hao Yi was on the hot search list every day, so He Lei's incident became less popular. However, she said that she needed to give her fans an explanation. After preparing the evidence, Tanguo asked the system to upload the evidence onto the video website. Tanguo posted the link to the website on He Lei's latest post. The fans could see it when they clicked on it. The netizens had yet to recover from the shock of Hao Yi wanting to sue the marketing account when they encountered He Lei's clarification. There was no need to say much about the system's editing. It was definitely perfect. It was split into 2 videos. One was complete, and the other only had He Lei's whereabouts. The time and date were written on it. Now that there were surveillance cameras everywhere, it was easy to find these things. And there was a paragraph below the blog post. We originally wanted to find all the videos of Ms. Zhong Xiang in the past few months together, but we didn't communicate well. This involves Ms. Zhong Xiang's privacy, so we only released mine. However, I believe that this is enough to prove that Ms. Zhong Xiang and I are innocent. I hope that the people who spread the rumors can stop. Borrowing the words of my good brother, I hope that the people on the internet will be responsible for what they say. Hao Yi was the first to repost the post when it was published. Now, Hao Ye's blog post would make the marketing account's hands tremble. Even though it was a hot topic, they didn't dare to speak carelessly. Other than the marketing accounts that had been sued, the rest of the accounts that had reposted these images had all added the words rejecting cyberviolence. There was no one else who could follow the trend. The style had become very harmonious. Marketing account. After all, no one wants to be sued. Vertex. Chapter 42-34. Half a month later, Jiang Qiqi's drama was broadcasted and received a good response. At first, Jiang Qiqi was the main character, then she was sent to be a spy. Many people guessed that Jiang Qiqi might become the real villain. When they saw that it was true, although the plot was a little old-fashioned, the drama was still worth watching. Especially when Jiang Qiqi appeared, she was very attractive. The plot was tight. Jiang Qiqi killed the police one by one, making people grit their teeth. The character played by Jiang Qiqi was scolded and became a hot topic. They had forgotten how much she had suffered in the beginning. When the drama came to an end, they realized that the character played by Jiang Qiqi was actually a 1,000-layer cake. Those who seemed to be decent people were actually the real agents of the drug lords. In the end, Jiang Qiqi died, and she cheated a lot of people. He Lei's drama had also finished airing, and the plot was much longer than Jiang Qiqi's drama, so it was almost finished. The final outcome also made people sigh endlessly. In short, Jiang Qiqi and He Lei's popularity soared because of this. Zhong Xiang, the female lead, did not get anything. Most importantly, He Lei's clarification did not mean to belittle her, so she failed to gain popularity. Zhong Xiang guessed that Cheng Xian was the culprit, so she ordered people to investigate Cheng Xian's situation. In the end, they found out that Cheng Xian actually gave birth to a son. Immediately, they felt that it was big news and quickly exposed it. Cheng Xian, who had thought that it had nothing to do with her, suddenly got such a scandal because of the previous drama. She, who had always been calm, could not sit still. Having a child out of wedlock and secretly, this was a stain that could not be washed away. Tanguo knew about Cheng Xian's trouble and did not care. The current Cheng Xian was no longer a threat to her. What happened next was that Hao Yi was in court. The netizens, who had been waiting for a long time, were already sitting in front of the computer. When they saw Hao Yi personally appear in court to defend himself, the netizens were shocked. The following defense was solemn. Even those who were sitting in front of the computer and holding their phones listened attentively. What a pain in the ass. They did not expect Hao Yi to have such a side. This must be the most handsome lawyer they had ever seen. He was also an artist. Oh God, they wanted to be his fans. Also, Hao Ye's classmates were all good-looking. Hao Ye's classmates were willing to accept this job. They did not expect that it would be broadcasted live on the internet. If they won this match, it would be their lifetime achievement. Who knew how much their net worth would increase? Weren't they happy? It's good to have a classmate who was an artist. This lawsuit was won without any warning. Chapter 42:35. Just as Tangor expected, when I Only Want to Rule the World was first announced, everyone was looking forward to the plot because Hao Yi was the main lead. Many people heard that the original owner of the body was there, so they went to read the original novel before it was broadcast. She heard that many of the props in the drama were sponsored by Tangua, especially Hao Ye's clothes. Every piece of clothing was sponsored by her. Just the trailer and photos alone were enough to attract people's attention. On the first day of broadcast, the drama was a hit. In the following days, the viewership ratings increased every day. In this drama, they got to know Hao Yi again. The emperor was clearly a serious character, but for some reason, the plot always made them laugh. Of course, Qidong was also paying attention to this matter. Seeing that Hao Yi became popular so quickly after his comeback, he was a little angry, but there was nothing he could do. He did have a lot of connections in the industry, and he had a lot of resources. It was easy to mess with a small artist, but the other party's status in the industry was not low, so he did not dare to do anything openly. It would be disadvantageous to him if people caught him red-handed and spread the news. Moreover, he could not afford to offend Hao Yi now. Before I Only Want to Rule the World was broadcast, he even bought marketing accounts to criticize the drama, but he did not expect that the marketing accounts would not accept the job at all. What was more infuriating was that these marketing accounts turned around and posted information about I Only Want to Rule the World. They were all praises. It was not that these marketing accounts wanted to praise Hao Yi, but they had to apologize honestly after being sued by Hao Yi. Who would feel good about it? They praised Hao Ye's drama just to ride on his popularity. If they said good things to ride on his popularity, Hao Yi should not be able to sue them, right? They had read every sentence carefully. There was no insult in it, so Hao Yi could not sue them. Madam Host, now those marketing accounts are constantly praising Hao Yi and have not given up on riding on his popularity. Will they have a bad impact on Hao Yi? Yes, it will indeed leave a bad impression on passers-by. I'll give you a task. Go to their blog and tell any marketing accounts that want to ride on Hao Ye's popularity to let go of Hao Yi and stop riding on his popularity. They are disgusting Hao Yi. If they talk too much, passers-by will be able to tell that they are deliberately disgusting Hao Yi. When the time comes, they will stand on Hao Ye's side. All right, Madam Host. In addition, Tang will plan to find a job for Hao Yi where he would not show up for half a year so that he could focus on acting. Hao Yi didn't like to show his face on the internet, so he worked hard. Time will prove everything. When the time comes, those marketing accounts will collapse on their own. After I Only Want to Rule the World became popular, many people came to look for Hao Yi. The scripts that could be seen now were all better. Among them, Tangua chose one for Hao Yi. As for endorsements, she did not accept any of them. Hao Yi did not seem to want to accept endorsements. It just so happened that she didn't really want to endorse Hao Yi anyway. Cheng Xian hadn't been having a good time recently. The fact that she had secretly given birth to a child was already a fact. The news about her and the child that was exposed on the internet wasn't ambiguous at all. Someone had even posted a picture of the child on the internet. It turned out that the mess that Cheng Xian had left behind had been taken over by her. He had a child out of wedlock, smoked, drank, acted like a big shot, and had a bad temper. Vertex. Chapter 42:36. There was evidence for everything. She had just acted in a good drama, but her reputation was ruined. With the help of the Internet Water Army, she was seriously boycotted by the netizens. Cheng Xian wanted to start a new job, but she couldn't. After learning about Cheng Xian's situation, Tangua recalled the original plot in her mind. The original plot was that Cheng Xian's career was very smooth at the beginning. She became famous quickly because of the role of Miyashue. Then, she started a new job and accidentally met the child's biological father. The child's biological father investigated Cheng Xian and found out that she gave birth to a child. Then, he found out that the child was his. Then, this domineering CEO often came to see Cheng Xian and the child. He established a father-son relationship with the child early on. In addition, Cheng Xian used to smoke and drink. This domineering CEO automatically thought that it was because Cheng Xian was annoyed after she got pregnant and couldn't bear to lose the child. That was why she was so dispirited. He even helped to erase all the traces. So, even if someone wanted to defame Cheng Xian, there was no evidence. Even if someone later exposed that Cheng Xian secretly gave birth to a child, this domineering CEO directly stood up and announced his identity. He even said that Cheng Xian was his wife. Who would check if they had a marriage certificate? They thought that the domineering CEO had personally admitted it. Then, everyone only cared about the couple. But now, the situation was different. Cheng Xian couldn't start a new job and missed the opportunity to meet the child's father. There was no way to undo everything that had happened. Zhong Xiang, the female lead of the previous drama, had always hated Cheng Xian. She hired Internet Water Army one after another. It seemed that she was going to kill Cheng Xian. She even hired someone to take photos of Cheng Xian's child and published it. Cheng Xian was furious, but there was nothing she could do. Suddenly, she remembered that Hao Yi had sued the marketing account and an idea came to her mind. The Internet Water Army exposed her child. That was the biggest mistake. So, this time, she might be able to make a comeback with this child. Love to read. The next day, Tangguo was notified by the system that Cheng Xian had posted a long blog post. The title was a request from a mother. The general idea of the post was that everyone could scold her and criticize her. In the past, she was indeed young and immature. She had done many wrong things. These were all things that everyone deserved to be scolded. But she wanted everyone to scold her. Why did she have to implicate an innocent child? She regretted it was her fault as a mother. That was why her child was bullied at a young age. Her heart ached for the child's suffering. She hoped that the netizens would be merciful and delete the child's photos. In short, it was a mother crying out for her child. She directly admitted her mistake and apologized, saying that she was young and immature. He also used the child to arouse the sympathy of the netizens. Sure enough, as soon as the blog post came out, most of the comments were made by mothers with children. They all said that it was not easy for single mothers to raise children, and that the things that Cheng Xian did were not particularly bad. It's just that when you're young, don't many people have problems like smoking and drinking? Who knew what kind of story there was behind having a child out of wedlock? She was able to raise a child on her own and even admitted her mistake. That was already very great. Host, Cheng Xian has cleared her name. More importantly, her mistake is not a big problem. It is indeed not easy for a single mother to raise a child. Everyone is in her shoes. Peak. Chapter 42-37. At present, there were many people who spoke up for Cheng Xian on the internet. Once someone attacked Cheng Xian again, they would be drowned by their comments. Why couldn't these people let go of a single mother? Seeing this, Cheng Xian knew that she had made the right move. Actually, at first, she wanted to take advantage of Hao Yi and sue those who exposed her child. But later, she thought that it would take too long to do this, and the reward was not proportional to the effort. After thinking about it, she decided that it would be better to act pitiful. In today's society, people said that it was not easy for a woman to raise a child. Moreover, she was a single mother, so it was even harder. Sure enough, the final result was what she wanted to see. Now, there were even programs that invited her to do interviews. At present, she had not found a good script and could not start a new job, so she agreed to the program's invitation. At this time, she could show her positive image and let everyone know that Cheng Xian was different now. Cheng Xian was also a little depressed. If the original owner had not left such a big mess for her, she would not have to work so hard. Previously, she had taken a fancy to some roles and wanted to audition, but in the end, she was attacked. She could guess who was attacking her. It was very likely to be Zhongxiang. The only people who had a conflict of interest were the other party. Cheng Xian reported to the higher-ups about the program. She did not say much about her relationship. Basically, it revolved around raising a child and filming these years. She had successfully molded herself into a tough single mother. After seeing it, many netizens were guessing who the child's father was. Why did he not care about Cheng Xian and the child? Was he a scumbag? Some people also guessed that Cheng Xian was a mistress and secretly gave birth to the child. But this theory was quickly refuted. How could a mistress who gave birth to a child have such a bad life? How could she be attacked on the internet? If the child's father was really a rich man, wouldn't it be easy for him to raise two people? Anyway, Cheng Xian had passed this obstacle. After the interview, her popularity increased a little. There were more fans who were married and had children. This group of fans could not bear to see Cheng Xian being attacked by anyone. Zhongxiang seemed to be at odds with Cheng Xian. No matter what role Cheng Xian wanted, Zhongxiang would interfere. Cheng Xian's acting skills were indeed better than Zhongxiang's. If it was not for the power of capital, she would not be able to win against Cheng Xian. Even if she had the power of capital, Zhongxiang could not get all the roles. If she dared to cause trouble in this industry, it would make the director dissatisfied, and it would be exposed. Cheng was smart. She knew that Zhongxiang wanted to sabotage. She chose one of the many roles and pretended that she was satisfied and went for the audition. As expected, Zhongxiang fell for it and snatched the role. Cheng Xian waited for Cheng Xian's to audition. Are you? Is. Then you don't have to pay attention to it. If there are any good scripts in the future, just keep an eye on them. It's not a problem for Cheng Xian to play the second female lead. The industry is so big, so it's impossible to spend so much time on her. As long as she can't play the female lead, she will never be able to win the Best Female Lead award. It will be enough for her to feel uncomfortable for the rest of her life. The system clicked its tongue in its heart, as expected of the host. Chapter 42-38. Cheng Xian used to be an award-winning actress, but in this world, she could only play the second female lead. Don't worry about the first female lead roles in some trashy scripts. Let her play them, analyze them, and inform me of any scripts that have a chance of being popular. Tangwa suddenly felt that she had too few female artists under her control. It wasn't that she didn't have enough female artists, but there didn't seem to be any female artists who were similar to Cheng Xian. Yin Zhuyun and Jiang Qiqi's paths were more special. Zhuoxiang debuted too late, and her acting skills couldn't be learned quickly. Her talent was much worse than Heilei's, and Heilei had to be careful when dealing with Cheng Xian. Therefore, Zhuoxiang couldn't win against Cheng Xian. In that case, she had to choose a few female artists with good acting skills to compete for the first female lead roles in some good scripts. It didn't matter if she couldn't get them. As long as she could beat Cheng Xian and make the director feel that Cheng Xian wasn't good enough, then the matter would be settled. Tengzi, help me keep an eye out for female artists with good acting skills who are similar to Cheng Xian. It's best if they don't have a good background and are often bullied by others. Okay, Madam Host. The system felt that helping Madam Host was the happiest thing in the world. However, it had a question now. Madam Host, now that you've found your cutie, why isn't there any progress between you two? She just finished her work, and you're sending her to work. Madam Host, do you only want to raise cows now? You're just a system. Why are you asking so many questions? Shouldn't feelings come naturally when the conditions are right? We're both young now, so shouldn't we work harder? System, I don't think you're trustworthy. In the afternoon, Tangwa brought soup to visit Hao Yi at work. System, I knew that Madam Host couldn't be trusted. Look, her actions don't match her words. Madam Host, didn't you say that feelings should come naturally when the conditions are right? Why did you bring soup to Hao Yi? Tangwa, I wanted to, so I did. This is called following my heart. Is there a problem? System, I can't win against you. You're bullying me again. The system wanted to say something, but it realized that someone had sent it an email. It looked at the sender and realized that it was 111. It quickly said to Tangwa, Host, 111 sent me an email. It should be the installation package he promised me last time. I'll go take a look. All right. Tangwa was also a little curious about what kind of installation package 111 would send to her little Tongzi. Not long after, Tangwa went to the set. This time, Haoyu was filming a legal drama. Haoyu was cast in this role because the director had taken a fancy to him first and invited him to the audition. To be able to hook up with such a veteran director through a TV series was enough to prove that Haoyu's business ability was very strong. In this drama, Haoyu's role was that of a lawyer. It wasn't a supporting role, nor was it a negative role. It was a very contradictory role that tested the actor's skills. So far, the director was very satisfied with Haoyu's performance. Chi-dong had actually auditioned for this role before, but he was not chosen. This director was famous for not lacking in money. He only filmed films that he wanted to film. Chi-dong could not do anything about it. When Tangwa arrived, Haoyu had just finished a scene. At this time, Haoyu was dressed in a suit and leather shoes, looking like an elite. Perhaps he had not had the time to come out of his role just now, but when he faced Tangwa, she could feel an indescribable desire hidden under his elite appearance. Vertex. Chapter 42-39. Money, Power, and the Desire to be above others. When Haoyu saw Tangwa, he quickly broke away from his role and walked to her with a faint smile on his face. "Why are you here on such a cold day?" Haoyu realized that he didn't want to call her Sister Tang at all. He was only a few years older than her, so it felt weird to call her Sister Tang. In the beginning, he didn't feel this way. The more he interacted with her, the less he wanted their interaction to be like this. "I'm here to take a look. You're all working. As your manager, I've been quite free recently. Coincidentally, the others aren't in the city. You're the only one here. I had some soup for lunch today, so I brought some for you." Haoyu tried to recall in his mind. The others didn't seem to be in the city, so she really wanted to drink soup for herself and thought of him, so she prepared some for him. "Are you done here? Do you want to try it?" Haoyu took the thermos box. "Since you personally brought it over, how can I not eat it? I haven't opened it yet, but I can smell the fragrance from the gaps in the thermos. This soup must be good." Tangwa pursed her lips and smiled. He was quite good at talking. When the director saw this, he glanced at the two of them and laughed. "Looks like the crew can save a box of lunch today. If Xiaoyu can drink soup every day, then the crew can save a box of lunch every day. It's worth it," the director continued. The others also teased. Haoyu drank a mouthful of soup and couldn't help but look at Tangwa with his desire. "If I can drink soup like this every day, it must be my good deeds in my previous life." As soon as Haoyu said this, everyone understood what was going on, especially the female artistes present. Previously, they felt that Haoyu was a person who was easy to talk to, but he didn't like to interact with the opposite sex. They heard that he had been in the entertainment industry for more than 10 years and was still single. He was so handsome. Everyone could feel that he was going to soar into the sky. Who didn't have such thoughts? Unfortunately, Haoyu didn't appreciate it. But he was different with Tangwa. He drank her soup and even praised her. Talking to Tangwa for a short while was more than talking to them for 10 days. So, he was the first to benefit from being in a favorable position. "The weather has been cold recently. I've been drinking soup every day. I'll bring some for you when the time comes," Tangwa said. Haoyu asked hypocritically, "Will it be troublesome?" "I'm fine. I'm just taking a walk after dinner." "It's fine." Haoyu nodded in relief. "Then I won't stand on ceremony." Everyone. Did these two people take others for fools? Everyone in the crew was very polite to Tangwa because they also wanted such an awesome manager. Unfortunately, not everyone could catch her eye. Throughout the winter, Tangwa came to the set every day to visit and deliver soup. Everyone could see that the relationship between the two of them was getting better and better. They were just short of holding hands and going on a date. Throughout the entire winter, they were gluttonous because of the delicious soup. Even though the bento boxes provided by the crew were not bad, they felt that it was not delicious anymore. Haoyu's drama was still very well made. Because he was a professional, he corrected all the logical errors in the script. Also, he collected many real cases that he and his classmates had experienced and integrated them into the script to ensure that every story was especially exciting. Because of this, Hao Ye's name not only appeared on the cast list, but also on the scriptwriter list. When the promotional poster was released, half a year had already passed. In other words, Hao Ye had disappeared for half a year after the previous lawsuit. In the end, he made such a big deal out of it. Needless to say, this was another drama that was going to be a hit. Currently, Hao Ye had already gone on a road show to promote, so this was still necessary. Tangwa did not go with him. Instead, she stayed at home to look at the information of the celebrities in the industry. Tongzi helped her to summarize a lot of information. She needed to look at it one by one. She remembered something. Tongzi. Recently, her Tongzi had been distracted. She wondered if it was playing games. After she called for a while, the system said, "Dear host, what's the matter? What information do you need?" Tangwa felt that the system seemed to be very anxious. It hoped that she could settle her matter quickly so that it could play. "What have you been doing recently?" "Oh right, didn't 111 give you an installation bag previously? What is it?" Peak. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.